Hello everyone and welcome to the OOTR Dungeon Door Requirement Monthly Race. We're going to have Video James and Shiro in the race stream today, and on commentary we're going to have Dobby Digital and Axani. Take it from you two.
Hello.
Hello. Just to clarify, it is a weekly race, but a monthly race stream.
Yeah, that's that monthly on the...
Just a small semantic thing.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm an English teacher. I can't be anything other than pedantic.
Alright, Shiro's not live yet, but she will be soon.
So just so we can get the initial blurb started before the race even starts. So in case you are here and you're not sure what DDR is a glitched rule set specifically designed for Randomizer that is between standard and no I am wrong warp in terms of the amount of glitches. It bans some of the most powerful glitches in the game while allowing for a lot of the quality of life stuff. So some examples of things you will not see today include item manipulation, wrong warping, and bomb hovering are the major ones. And also, if you want to see the full list of things that are globally not allowed, you can check that link there that has a full list. Additionally, there are the door requirements to take into account. And so in order to enter a dungeon, you have to do so more and less the intended way. So like go through the door while it was loaded and in bounds. And in order to enter a boss room, you have to stand in front of the door and press A. As adult, this also means that you need to have the boss key in order to get to the boss rooms.
Obviously Dobby's well practiced at this, but that does not include the side dungeons such as Bottom of the Well, GTG, and Ice Cavern. Ice Cavern, which doesn't really have a difficult way of getting into, but Bottom of the Well has a couple of ways you can enter it without doing it the intended way of playing Song of Storms, and GTG, same thing.
Yes,
and those are allowed.
This does use the definition of dungeons from the more from like the vanilla game, where a dungeon is an area that has a blue warp at the end, and so the side dungeons, as we typically refer to them, are not included in that. So you can glitch, and you can and should, in our completely unbiased opinion, because it's funnier, glitch into Bottom of the Well, as well as GTG and Ice Cavern, though of course you are not required to. This all uses glitchless logic, and so it is never required to do any glitches you may or may not see today. Also, probably take the chance to plug as much as I can. This is using the DDR S1 settings, and so this is for the ones that we had for the first turn. For the last several months, we've been working on discussions for the S2 settings, and we have a poll out now. So if you check out that link there, that has a survey for the settings that for the DDR community to use for S2. So if there's any chance you want to play, I definitely recommend you check out that link and fill out the survey. It doesn't take too long, probably about 5 minutes. And even if you have no intention whatsoever of doing DDR, we still want to hear from you guys, just to know what other settings that other communities like to use to help inform us of, like, you know, to what extent the settings that we have also have an impact on the people that we use. So definitely want everyone to fill it out. We have the link there. We'll post it several times. I also appreciate Video Jams changing the menu along with the music. Chef's kiss.
Oh, I don't even have the music on. Okay, now I get it. I was like, okay, sure. I feel appropriately shamed because I have not filled out the poll or the survey yet. But to be fair, I have been.
Oh shit!
Have been working. I have been busy with work, and yeah, oopsie Dobby, oopsie.
I forgot I was in the room. Oops. So
lost your train of thought, I'm assuming.
Yes, I don't know where I was starting, but yes, my apologies. Apparently I was holding up the race because I forgot I was in the race room.
Yeah, as soon as somebody else joined, I dropped out because I knew I would do the same thing. I would forget and be like, oh, damn it.
I think trains are the things that people that go on the rails and that people like to watch for some reason.
Okay. A black tunic on Vid's side, and Shiro is vanilla. So we do have to take into consideration the color of the Kokiri's tunic, and I have been explained this many times, and I still do not fully understand it because it's all like kind of techie garbo, which doesn't make sense to me. But basically, there are certain values of Kokiri tunic that can crash while you do a weird shot. So you have to be careful about your Kokiri tunic, which is probably why Shiro's is not randomized.
One thing to keep in mind, that only applies on VC, because once again, Technobabble, Dusk has like a full write-up, or it's either Dusk or Dotso has a full pastebin write-up of why it happens. It is known, and so if you're curious about it, you can find that. But the important thing is just to make sure that the green value of the Kokiri tunic on VC is not too high.
Essentially, yeah.
Because OOT.
OOT.
It's basically the summary. Welcome to Bias. So, in case you're not sure what the settings are that we have here, if we do this, does this work? Is this set up? Can I do things? I can. So the main goal that they're going to be looking for here is they need to get 1 stone in order to open up the Rainbow Bridge to get to Ganon's castle, and they need to collect 5 medallions in order to get the Ganon's boss key from, well, now it's no longer the Light Arrow cutscene, now it's just given to.
Yes. Which was kind of weird the first time, but now it's just kind of like another thing. So we have a hammer and a wallet to start off with. A couple bloopies, standard fare. Vid's buying a lot of sticks, so I guess he's not. Planning to farm more sticks using ISG, whereas Shiro only bought 1 because she's going to use the ISG method of getting more sticks.
She also bought a shield, which I'm kind of surprised.
That is, that is a thing. But I think maybe it's because she's on Restream and she doesn't want to be, she wants to not be too far behind. I don't know.
That's fair. We do also see, so if this is your first randomizer race, this is, this will involve a lot more glitches than you might be expecting, since this is a glitched rule set, starting with ISG that we have them both do. Which, in case you aren't familiar with glitches in OOT, this is one of the bread and butter ones you'll see all over the place, and they'll use it quite frequently. It's where you interrupt a crouch tab with some kind of animation, notably talking to text boxes like NPCs and whatnot, also calling Navi.
Shut up, Navi.
Shut up, Navi.
So, that's like a meme for me and my community is Navi annoys me, and so I tell her to shut up, and we have a counter running of how many times I say shut up, Navi. Vid's Navi sound is apparently the Rudo Wiggle, which is going to drive me absolutely crazy today.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Yeah.
There's no secret that I have a level of disdain for the for Rudo. So Vid did he used a glitch value that gets on the stick. What you do is there's several ways to do it, but it involves something called quick put away, where and then your sword gets all sorts of weird values, including Vin's fire. So he was able to break the web without going up to the top and jumping through it. That is actually really commonly used now in Defeat Ganon percent in vanilla speedrunning.
Oh, it was quite clean there too for the QPA.
Yeah. That version I think is a little bit more challenging, so well done for Vid on that.
And we'll see, you might have noticed right at the start that the Deku Tree is open. That is something that we have as one of the default settings typically for DDR. Since there are many glitches in order to get right past Mido if he's standing in the way, notably you can Mega Flip, there's like a super old and Mido skip that's actually done itemless, or using only a Deku Stick, I think. And so rather than require any of those things that would block the way into entering Deku Tree right at the start, we just have it open, so you can just go in right away. We typically take every opportunity to skip past Mido, preferably flipping them off as we do. But in this case, it's easier to just not require you to do a trick to do so.
Yeah, we did a random settings race, God, several months ago at this point, and it did happen to have closed Deku, and I was like, lol. Because I just kind of flipped right past him, using some bombs, of course. And I told him, "You have no power here," which felt kind of good.
Appropriate. Yes, Axe has some incredibly cute emotes.
Yeah, those are almost all of my emotes are made by Shiro, by the way, who's on Restream. She is a fantastic artist. She's one of my mods. She's a really good friend of mine. And I'm very fortunate to have her doing my emotes.
She's also done quite a number of the emotes in the OOTR Discord as well, which, if you aren't part of, you can join the link there. You can check out any of the sections there, and in particular, if you want to try out DDR stuff or just talk with some DDR people, there's the DDR discussion channel you can check, as well as the DDR Async has some async seeds if you want to try out the settings, as well as DDR race planning if you just want to hop right in with some people.
Yeah, and it's important to note that bomb shoes. It's important to note that you don't actually have to know how to do any glitches in order to do well. Again, it is on glitchless logic, so the seed is beatable without the use of any glitches whatsoever. How many glitches you do, or how well you perform them is almost entirely irrelevant. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say entirely irrelevant, but if you're not capable of doing, I don't know, say like a hyperset and super slide, which is called a HES for short, then you're not necessarily going to lose. You may just have like better routing than the other player, which is always a factor in Rando.
Ooh, nice early magic.
Yeah, magic and explosives. Baby seed.
Baby seed. I didn't see how many explosive it was, but
it was 10.
It was 10? Oh yeah, baby seed.
Yeah, 10 is workable, 100%. Alright, so now it's time for the UI comparison. I like Shiro's like pink and green motif she's got going, but I'm very fond of Vid's A button, and that purple is chef's kiss.
I do much prefer Vid's purple magic bar. I don't like the color for Shiro's magic bar. It's like a weird espresso, and by that I mean greeny yellow. Not a fan of that.
It's okay. It's not a favorite, but it's funny because like there are very few colors in Rando that I don't like when I see them or when I have them. It's like you would think like, oh no, brown's terrible, but sometimes you can get a really nice chocolate brown tunic, and it's just, you know, it's very pleasant. Right, and Shiro's going to be heading to Goma, as is Vid. Goma strat is, you can either do it the way that Standard does it, which is with Broken Stick and using nuts, or you can get ISG. You can also get ISG with Broken Stick, if you so prefer.
Can you get ISG with Broken Nuts, Monk ass?
I don't know. I wouldn't try it. You might want to see a doctor, seek medical help.
Yes, we would advise you to seek medical help if you get ISG with Broken Nuts.
Or just Broken Nuts in general.
Fair, you know?
Shiro doing the thing that I do every time I'm in a race, which is miss the one cycle. When I'm playing casually, though, you know.
Mm-hmm. See, that's a strat, is to also miss it when doing casual. That's my personal strat.
Oh, you know what? That's fair. That's fair. It's like the added, like, race/restream pressure. Oh god, Trez. Oh god.
Does that qualify as a nut upgrade?
I was just gonna ask that.
Also, Mita, that sounds like chef's kiss for Mirror Shield. That seems awesome.
God. 50 is Rippy. I don't think they're going to be getting 50 skulls for 20 bucks. I do a lot of things for $20. 50 skulls is not one of them. That sounded way worse than I meant it to than it did in my head. Shiro's going back into Kokiri. Right, Tobias? Right.
And yes, Deku, or Deki, that's a time to open a stream, but we welcome. If you are just joining us, they had a loaded Deku tree, and also the combined maturity of everyone on Restream right now is, I think, about 6 years old, if you combine all maturity ages, so...
Roughly, yeah. I mean, I teach middle school, so I'm just around it all the time. But generally speaking, whenever you have me on any sort of commentary or stream or whatever, you're going to get... It's going to be colorful. That's just kind of how that has happened. I have very little of a filter.
Hashtag no filter.
I mean, I have to maintain it a little bit while I'm at work since, teaching.
Also, just in case, if you happen to... if you're not sure what the hints are that we use here, I have to remember the exact distribution. We've been playing around with them. It's we have 2 Way of the Hero. We have 3 what are called named item hints. These just kind of point to that there's an item from a predefined list that's there. Effectively, you can think of it as a guarantee that the area is not barren. Then there are 2 barren hints, and I think 7 sometimes. I'd have to double check because we've been working on hint distributions for a long time, and so I'm not sure.
Well, is Way of the Hero. Waiting to see what the other hints say. The other ones are just... Oh, Pierre is garbage. That's always a nice hint. That's always a nice hint.
Yeah, Garbage Pierre is really nice. Especially because I always forget to get the Scarecrow song anyway, so... Right,
honestly. Or, like, you go to Fire Temple and you're like, no, it's fine. I'm not going to need to go to Pierre. And then, of course, you always do. Whenever you don't go out of your way to get it. So Vid's going adult, early adult. So it is 1 stone, 5 medallions, 1 stone to open the bridge, 5 meds for BK. So doing Deku Tree early and getting a stone is kind of eh. I mean, luckily there was stuff in Deku Tree. But I've definitely had that where I start with a stone, I go to Deku, I get absolutely nothing out of Deku, and then I get another stone, and I'm like, wow, I just wasted like 5 minutes of my life. Which I guess,
extra bad if you later get a Baron Deku hit, and you're like...
Yeah. Like, thanks, game, appreciate it.
Saran said, PP, this doesn't have Skip Child Zelda, so if they want to do any of the... like either child math sequence, or if they want to get those songs, they will have to go get the ladder and whatnot from Zelda. Ooh, nice clip there from Shira.
That's a fantastic name, a Rancid PP. Well played, well done. Well, I don't want to say sir. Ooh, bomb bag.
Ooh, is that a bomb bag?
It sure is.
Ooh.
Shiro doing the clip out to get to River early. You can get that as adult. Obviously, that is in logic as adult to just go there and there's a quick jump. I think it's maybe it's not in base logic because it's like a jump that you have to do, a special like setup for it. But getting to River is in logic as adult. Getting to River as child without explosives and bomb chews don't count because they're not in logic. This is out of logic, but she's being rewarded for it when she gets that bomb bag.
And we do see this brings up like an interesting point of like in terms of routing, that people tend to think that like routing in DDR is really easy. Now it is where it's a lot of the complexity and routing comes into play, because this is out of logic now, and this opens up a ton of stuff. Some of it will be in logic to do, assuming the bomb bag itself was in logic, like DC. But using glitches, you can access a whole ton of stuff with the bomb bag. And it then becomes which of these options are you going through based on how many items are there, or what's in logic and what isn't. So routing becomes a very tricky endeavor when once the world's so open to you.
And that's Din's Fire. So we are Din's Fire is very unlikely to be Way of the Hero because of variable meds, and Din's really only kind of being required in to enter Shadow. And required is obviously it's a relative term. And Shiro needs to get one more rupee, by the way.
Yes, please do.
But yeah, Din's Fire, it is nice to have Dins, though. I mean, there are several ways to get into Shadow Temple that don't require Din's Fire, but I'm never going to say no if I see it. I'm like, all right, that's nice. Yes, please. Yes,
okay.
Fire Arrow entry is allowed.
So yeah, so Mita, for the earlier when I was alluding, you might have heard me qualify very specifically to say more or less the intended way for entering dungeons. In terms of Shadow and Water are the two that are most affected. In terms of Shadow, the requirement is that you have to light all of the torches and then walk into the door. Which seems simple enough, but that means you can use Din's Fire, it means you can use Fire Arrows, it means you can use any of the other techniques for getting access to a fire source, so QPA as child, as well as there's a relatively new trick known as Empty Jump Slash as adult that also works. Oh, nice hovers.
Yes.
Baby Seed.
Quite a bit. So hover boots are another one of those items that it's like, okay, cool, I'll take it, but you don't really need it. There are many things that technically quote unquote require hovers, but don't actually require hovers.
Hovers are definitely one of the funny ones in DDR that you're very happy to see hovers, but almost never for the things you're expected to use hovers for. You're like, oh, nice, I found hovers, now I can beat Water Temple.
Yeah. And actually, we pretty much... Well, we need a hookshot to open the switch. So Water Temple, there are ways that you don't need iron boots and stuff to get in. So, I think Dobby might have just said that, but my brain sometimes shuts off. So, hookshot jump is allowed, but you're not allowed to enter. You're not allowed to enter Shadow by unloading the door. You still have to open it the right way. So you can do hookshot jump to get up there in lieu of getting Nocturne, but you still have to light the torches and open the door. Shut up, Trez. I have ADHD, okay? Stop.
And actually, I alluded to the fact that water's a bit weird, but I don't think I actually explained it. So Water Temple is the other kind of weird one in that you need to hit the crystal that kind of opens the gate itself.
And only hookshot works for that, by the way.
Yeah, only hookshot works for that. So you need to have either hookshot or longshot to hit that switch. And then you then just have to hit the loading zone inbounds. So this can mean using iron boots, it can mean using gold scale, it can mean using ocarina dive. Technically, you could probably cutscene dive in general. That would probably also work. And there's also this really insane technique that theoretically you could do, but no one would ever do, that you clip out of bounds at the lab and then just get in bounds, but...
That sounds terrible.
It sounds terrible. Dotso has said theoretically it's possible in it, and pretty much everyone's consensus has been, if you want to go for it, instead of just the ocarina dive, you do you, fam.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those, okay, just, you were concerned with whether or not you could, and not whether or not you should, or whatever the line is, but...
Yes.
And there are several ways to get into water that are not DDR legal, such as, like Dobby said, there's a lab clip, there's a ledge clip from where the owl is usually stationed. There's several out-of-bounds swimming things that you can do. Water Temple is really interesting because the water has... water just gives you a lot of... just not Water Temple, but water in general. There's a lot of things you can do while in the water and using the water physics. Swimming out of bounds is everybody's favorite thing, obviously.
Especially Shiro's.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard many a rant about swimming out of bounds.
Alright, so Dampe dropping $50 in an ice trap. Dampe is not a bro.
Ooh, and it looks like Shiro has actually checked the pedestal for us, which is very nice of her. So now we can actually comment on the actual requirements they need. So there's Fire Temple, that is one of the required medallion dungeon, which requires hammer, even in DDR. There's water that requires either it requires one hook shot in order to get in, and then requires either long shot or hover boots in order to beat it. There's Spirit Temple, which requires the Mirror Shield to beat it. Dodongoats, which requires explosives, which they have. Forest requires a hook shot in order to enter it, and then beating it can be variable depending on where the BK is. And then Shadow requires a sort of fire source in order to get in, more or less, as well as some way to cross the gap, so either explosives or hover boots. So they're already looking pretty good in terms of item requirements. The main thing they're missing is that they will 100% need to find at least one hook shot, as we have both Water and Forest Temple as medallions.
Yeah. Hookshotless water is a thing, but it's... no. Also not legal in this rule set anyway. You have to... So obviously, if we're doing something like with entrance randomizer, then that definitely muddies things up a bit. But the entrance requirements, which obviously is not relevant here, but the entrance requirements remain the same. So entering whatever is in bottom of the well can be done the way that we would enter bottom of the well if the dungeons were not shuffled. So kind of works out. I think Shiro was trying to clip to Lake.
Yeah. She was trying to do... There's a clip you can do. There's an easier version as an adult that involves a ladder. But as child, you can also do that to clip out of bounds and then get to the like underwater loading zone that goes to Lake. And yes, Mita, ice arrows, you can use them to shoot Volvagia before entering the boss room. You can do the weird shot strat there. Absolutely.
Thing that I have not yet accomplished.
Wow. Clearly, ice arrows are useful against Bongo, so I don't know what we can do there. Love
oh god, that echo.
So
That
good.
was even worse. But yeah, one of the things also about DDR, which is absolutely fantastic, is that you don't really need strength upgrades for anything at all, ever, period.
True strength comes from within, you know?
And just very clever jumps and such.
And yes, you can indeed shoot Volvagia with the ice arrows, and it does more damage than either regular arrows or fire arrows. I think light arrows technically do the same amount, because I think it's fire arrows that are nerfed, but I'm not 100% confident on that.
I mean, it does make sense that fire arrows would be less effective against a fire dragon, so...
It does make sense, but I mean, does it make
OoT.
sense that hammer works literally any ways it does for damage? Skulltula token, you hammer it, you hit it with a hammer, that works. You jump slots with a hammer, never.
Yeah, there's definitely... What is logic? We're not sure. Oh, I'm entirely certain that quote-unquote typo was intended.
Oh, 100%. I mean, 10 out of 10.
The Volvag. I think Spike Vegeta might have been one of the first to do that, or he popularized it, at least. Oh no. NA aim, Shiro.
NA aim, Dancecade, you can do it! Nice.
It amazes me because I'm the same way as Shiro is in this regard. I can do all sorts of really hard glitches that take a lot of practice, that are frame perfect, that are super precise. But shooting gallery, nah, fam. Sometimes shooting gallery eludes me.
Oh, also, if you have on your bingo boards for this 2 magic spells, you can mark that off.
True that.
Which are the 2 best ones to find, Din's Fire and FW.
I mean, to be fair though, Nehru's actually is useful, especially if you're just learning out, because if you're not, obviously there are many ways to do super slides. There's a hyper extended super slide. There's just regular straight super slides. When I say straight super slide, I mean that you're going straight. You can't turn. A Hess will let you turn. But you can also do super slides with Neighbor's Love. It allows you to do super slides and kind of like it's like a modified, it's like modified push-ups. You know how like sometimes you do push-ups from your knees? That's kind of like what NL is. It's letting you do the push-ups from your knees.
It's yeah, because why you need to roll in order to do a super slide or something like that is because you rely on the invincibility frames, and Neighbor's Loves gives you like invincibility frames that last like a minute. So you can just like, instead of having to time the roll specifically, you can just kind of drop the bomb and then use NL, roll into it, and hold R, and then it will just super slide you once the bomb explodes. So it's
basically just store a ground jump.
Yep.
I'm actually surprised that Vid is not doing the well, maybe I don't know Vid's full skill, but there is a thing where you can hit that switch without pushing the block and it will stay down with clever targeting on the keys. I am not familiar with the entire process because I don't know how to actually do it. I've just seen it enough times to be able to talk about it. So
that one I think is fairly precise, but I think if you get it reasonably quickly, it's faster than going around.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
This music does not match King Dodongo at all. I think Vid is... he's gonna be doing whatever weird chew stuff, yeah. This is not a fun strat. But he does it very easily.
Really nice. Yes, now we have blue fire. We can use it in DC. Wait. And here's where you wish you had Emraxis's bonk KO mode.
That bonk thing blew my mind.
It was the best. Just chef's kiss.
Very clean from Vid there. As a strat that I need to learn how to do, among many others, of course. It's like the thing about glitching is there's a whole rabbit hole to go down, and it seems very overwhelming. But like for me, the way I approached it is I'm gonna learn things, I chose to learn things that are versatile, that you can use in multiple places. But like every time you learn a glitch, it's like 26 more of them pop up, and you're like, oh shit, which way do I go? So I totally understand when people say that it's overwhelming, but you just have to kind of pick and choose which way you want to go and how you want to do it, and hopefully figure something that works for you.
One method we kind of recommend for people who feel kind of overwhelmed by the amount of stuff, because all of these glitches are optional, what you can do is you can just play through a seed how you would do otherwise, and then you can get to a spot and be like, oh, I can't find X. I wonder if there's a way to get around needing X, and then you can look that up. And go around looking like that. Also, nice repeats on Shiro. So like that's a nice way to kind of just pick up things as you want, because they're all optional in the end. So rip nice.
Indeed.
Spend the 5 rupees.
I mean, I'm sure some people can, Tobias, but those people have been playing this game for literal decades. And, well, I mean, okay, to be fair, I've been playing this game for literal decades. It came out in 1998, and I got it on release, so yes, I am ye old.
I love the sound effects with hover boots. It's so good.
Yeah, that is pretty good. It's got that kind of thong quality to it. It's like your car's not starting, and then you're mad about it. This is why I love randomized sounds. It's just really fun.
So good. Sorry, Icepino, do you mean the item list for the for like the named items? That one, if so, that one doesn't update. It's a predefined list of things, and so it's just effectively it picks one, and then it picks a location of one of those items. So if you want to find the exact list of everything, I can see... Do I have it pinned? I thought I was smart and pinned the list somewhere.
I think they're talking about the tracker though, and no, we have people who are out there marking the items that our runners find.
Speaking of which, thank you for No Pen Name Girl, Quagsire, and Mikundi who are helping out on that front. It helps us and the restream figure out what's going on because we're too busy making stupid, immature jokes and can't concentrate on the gameplay, and they remind us all these checks that the players have done.
I mean, I have enough trouble concentrating when I'm the one playing, so...
Ooh, and where's Video James going here? I was just doing this check.
I mean, he might be going to just go get Minuet and see what song is there. There is a point where you kind of stop looking for songs. I mean, warp songs are really nice, but really the only one that you probably need is ZL in a lot of cases, so...
Oh, yes, and thank you for reminding. That's also one thing you need for Shadow Temple is Zelda's Lullaby. Since there is no method that allows you to get to the boss room or like stand in front of the boss door for Shadow Temple, all of the methods that involve that deload the door itself. So in order to beat Shadow Temple in DDR, you do need ZL.
So Ice, the way I do it, and I haven't tracked in a while, but when I track, I literally have to cover up everything on the screen except for the one runner I'm tracking. I cannot watch the rest of the restream. I cannot watch chat. I'll even get distracted by things that are like, I'll be like the dog will come in, or like I'll see something on my phone and I'll be like, oh shit, I missed an item. So yes, I totally get that. I was gonna post my dog emote, like the one of my dog, but it's actually not on. It's on like FFC, so it will not show up here. Not unless Trez adds it, but I don't think he's planning to add my dog to ZSR3.
I don't know, that seems like a perfectly reasonable suggestion. All dogs should be added to all emote channels.
I mean, I think that's what we have pup time for. That's a big mood, Icy. That's a big mood. Alright, so just checking some hints. A lot of Vid's really the only one doing anything that we haven't seen. Foolish Lake, that's so beautiful. That's such a lovely thing. The only thing that sucks about Foolish Lake is that you don't go there to get Scarecrow. But we don't really need it, so...
Yeah, basically the only place that's really useful is Fire Temple. Everywhere else is kind of eh.
Yeah.
Technically, you might be needed for, like, Shadow Temple if you have, like... I think there's, like, a huge laundry list of things that would need to happen in order for that to be the case. But technically, you could need Scarecrow Song to, like, cross the final gap.
I mean, yeah, because you either would need, bow for the flowers, the bomb flowers, or bomb shoes also work. And I think it's too far for a hover slide to work.
Hover slide works.
Oh, okay.
That's my preferred method.
I haven't tried, so...
I think you do have to be careful just to make sure you're not too angled, but as long as you're going straight, you're good.
I don't think the Way of the Heroes and Foolish are accurate. Did we get a Deku Way of the Hero? And we definitely got a River Way of the Hero.
We've got Magic and Deku, so that's likely going to be the Way of the Hero we found there.
I just didn't know if we got the hint. I didn't see that hint. So.
Oh, I think I remember seeing that hint. We saw it, like, I think that was the one that was behind, or technically in front of King Zora.
Okay. I missed it then. So yeah, we have River and Deku, then Way of the Hero, and we have Death Mountain Crater and Lake Foolish so far, from what I've seen. So Vid is in Ganon's castle, and he can do almost everything here. I think Silver or Gold Gauntlet's chest might be the only thing. and the final chest in Light Trial because he doesn't have ZL.
And we'll see if he opts to do... There are a number of methods you can do to clip into the Light Trial, which is a really nice spot since it has like 7 chests right at the start.
Yeah.
You can do some clips involving like bombs where you like do super slides and it clips you past the block, or like damage clips using either chews or bombs. But typically the method you see that requires the least number of items is you can unload and reload the main area, which reloads the like beams that are normally there to show you what trials are dispelled or not. And even though you can't see them right now, they are actually there, which we were kind of surprised is the case. But even if you set even if you set all the trials to be dispelled, the actor itself is still there, and you can still reload it times. And if you reload it multiple times, after you reload it enough, it actually causes the memory to run into issues, and it deloads some things in order to make space. One of the things that deloads is the block that's in front of the Spirit Trial. And so, or sorry, not Spirit Trial, Light Trial. And so you're able to just walk right in.
And if you do it too much, you may actually end up unloading the chest. I have unloaded my ability to shoot my bow before, which I unloaded my arrows. Some of the silver rupees in Spirit Trial will not be there. And I've also gotten to, when I actually had to dispel Light Trial, the silver rupees in that very final room in Light Trial were also gone. And I was like, well, okay, shit.
Nice. Yeah, there are setups to get like, because there's like a window you want to hit in order to be able to make sure that none of the chests despawn. And so there are setups in order to get like within that window really nicely. Notably, if you like go from the start, and you can do, I think it's 19 side hops in and out of the there's like the area with it's got the scrubs. I think it's 19 out, and that'll work.
You can also go in and out of Spirit Trial. Total, like, you open that door 38 times. Which is not particularly fast, but probably the easiest method.
It's also really safe because you can just look at the block to see if it's unloaded. So
yeah,
as long as you once you get past 30, you can start looking every time just to make sure. And then you'll be sure not to overshoot and accidentally unload things.
Yeah, and this game is as Canadian Summer just said, that's pretty cool. Like, this game, there are so many things and so many quirks about this game that, like, once you start really, like, examining and learning how things work, you're like, dude, like, it's absolutely astounding. Yeah, this game is, like, held together with, like, duct tape and, like, and like, chapstick.
And not even, like, brand name duct tape. It is like they went to the dollar store and picked up one of, like, the duct tape that's got, like, the pink and purple swirls on it. And they're like, yeah, that's good enough.
I mean, in the Army, we used to call it 100-mile-an-hour tape. And that was also not the good duct tape. That was, you know, if you say something is military grade, that doesn't mean it's good. That means that it was the cheapest. They went to the lowest bidder. So, military grade duct tape. I say that as somebody who was in the military, so I'm allowed.
I was not in the military, so I will refrain from comment. This may surprise everyone who knows me, that with my rippling physique, I was not in the military.
I mean, okay. I got out in 2004, so I don't know if you'd call my physique very rippling either, so... Alright, so Shiro is finishing up DC, and Vid is going to go check out Desert Colossus. Excuse me. I must be getting the Rona. I guess I can't go to work for 2 weeks. What a shame.
Man.
If only. It's like so fucked up. One of my coworkers got it, and she was out for like 9 days. And I was like, I don't want to be sick, I just want to have a vacation.
Foolish water.
That is also nice. Foolish water just means you need a hook shot, and then they have everything they need to just do it. Like, get Morpha.
You're just like, yeah, let's just hope that it's early. Early boss key.
Oh, yeah. Why do I always forget about the boss key? Oh, yeah, it's because I haven't played DDR in a while. I've been playing No Logic. So, in No Logic, sometimes basically anything goes, but this is not No Logic. There is logic. There are paths that you are expected to take to beat the game. There are things that you are expected to do, items that you are expected to have to beat the game.
And yeah, Deki, the difference between Foolish and Baron is one is an older name. I think originally it was called Baron, and so a lot of older players still typically call it that. But its official name now is Foolish. Since there are kind of things, Baron makes it sound like there's nothing there, whereas Foolish just means you're not going to really find anything critical there. You might find, like, you might need the reward at the end, and you might find things like Choose, so... It's not necessarily empty, it's just that you're not strictly required to go there in order to beat the game. And so I think the name was changed in order to reflect that.
Yeah. I remember that discussion. And there was also, like, the connotation with the word Baron, too, but that probably was less of a factor, I think. Free shirt. I wonder what color the free shirt is.
It looked like it was an orangey color, using my very technical color knowledge.
It is a lot harder to discern things. So both of these players are on VC, which is obviously is not generally as sharp as like somebody using an emulator's like screen would be. And I have been adjusting to that myself because I recently have switched, and that's why I'm not racing today is because I'm still getting used to it. But you get it's very like my emulator was very, very sharp and crisp, and it is less so on VC. So that is going to be an adjustment for me. Is like I'm already blind enough, so being able to not see things as well might prove to be problematic.
Which is funny because I play on N64 on EverDrive, and so all of these pixels that I've never seen before are amazing.
I mean, I grew up with I wouldn't say grew up, I was a teenager, but yeah, N64 was definitely my preferred method. And yeah, Richard had a bow. Richard is nice. a good pupper today. Good doggo.
Yeah, that is something that we do still need to beat Ganondorf, and so we do still need to find bow, magic, and light arrows. We do have the hint from Ganondorf where light arrows are, but we need to find bow and magic. Thankfully, in this case, Vidya has that, and so... and we have magic already on Shiro's side, so already a good way there.
And I mean, like, I'm sure Shiro's going to get the bow. I mean, that is not an out-of-the-way difficult check to get. It can be annoying to get with time of day sometimes, but really not, like, a huge... It's not, like, a difficult one. You're a weird egg.
Oh, rude.
Oh my god, Rudo, shut up. I'm the person who, when I'm holding Rudo over my head on the elevator, I move around so I don't hear that sound. Because I don't like that sound at all. So,
Tobias, you are true, or you are correct in general. However, specifically in DDR, in our hint distribution, we prevent that case from happening. So if there is an area that has a logically bow-locked bow, it will not be considered Baron in DDR. Though, funnily enough, we did that for most of the progressive items, and we just completely forgot to do that with Strength, because I think all DDR players, we forgot it existed when we made that change. Since a lot of the times it being Baron is kind of would be detrimental if it gets you to not go to an area. That happened after Infamous Seed that Shira ruled that had two bows and Baron Shadow, and everyone lost their minds.
Oh, I remember that. Everybody, yeah, there was a riot, I think. It's like James heard me, and I know he didn't because he's not stream sniping, but it's like, son of a bitch, there's more chews on Crater, which Shiro's going to go for. I don't do not blame her. The more explosives, the better. When you're doing glitches, explosives are like your your best friend. You want to have them at every possible opportunity. You're like, ooh, bombs. Ooh, bomb shoes. Because their usefulness cannot be overstated.
And they are in most circumstances, bomb shoes and bombs are kind of interchangeable in that most things that you can do with one explosive, you can do in some manner with the other. But there are things that are easier to do with one versus the other, and some strategies that only work for one. Notably, in terms of mega flipping, if you are on a console that can pause buffer consistently, there are really good visual cues you can use to mega flip with shoes. However, it is more frame dependent than using bombs, if I remember correctly. And so, if you're not pause buffering, it can be easier to do it with bombs.
So I'm just gonna say that the correct way to mega flip is to just drop the bomb and wait, and just you feel it in your heart when it's the right time to flip.
Yeah.
And that has obviously, the YOLOing has consistently worked for me. Something that Shiro and I say a lot, and it drives Dotso a little bit crazy, is my YOLO is consistent. and you know, Dotso is a very methodical, like, I'm gonna pause buffer the shit out of everything to make sure that I get it. Me and Shiro are like, nah, fuck it, YOLO. And I think it drives him a little bit nuts, but it is also really just all in fun. We rather enjoy that.
Which, to be fair, driving Dotso nuts is also fun, so win-win there.
I have a joke too. It's like, if I say, what's the setup 3 times, he'll just appear. Like, it's like Bloody Mary in the mirror.
Yeah, if you ask what the setup is 3 times, or if you say I don't like ESS turns 3 times in a row, it will also work. Ooh, ZL on Opponent Song is also good find, so we do need that for Shadow. So
yes, I mean, technically you might not do Shadow, but you already have basically everything you need for it at this point.
How'd Shadow win?
Huh?
Huh?
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was Shadow when?
Oh, yes. Well, when we get Nocturne, because I don't know that there's a DDR approved way of getting up there without Nocturne as Child.
Yes, because you could do the Super Slide teleport. They don't have strength.
Oh, that's terrible though.
Just because it's terrible doesn't mean it would be awesome for restream.
I mean, yes, it would be definitely a thing.
Yeah, Drew, that's lame.
Shiro's going to be walking into this, and you see there's a cutscene here. So this cutscene is not useful in DDR. There are 2 cutscenes that are re-enabled for this under enable specific useful cutscenes, I think is what it's called now. This one is actually, you can do a boss key skip off that Darunia cutscene. The other cutscene is in Forest Temple, which if you manage to, I guess, interrupt is the word I'm looking for, with the with bugs or a bottle or some other cutscene item, you can actually regain control in the Poe cutscene and ride the elevator down early. And speaking of early boss key in Fire Temple for Shiro, which is pretty nice.
Which is super nice because fire sucks.
It super does. Although it's a lot better when you know how to get through it quickly. You know, doing the shortcut skip has made fire a lot more bearable for me.
And there's only like one good glitch in it, and so I'm not a fan of fire. Fire is by far my least favorite dungeon.
I agree, and for me, the reason I've never liked fire is because of the way that when you hit the switches and it like spins the room around with the camera angle, I just hate that. It drives me crazy. Like, I can't even explain it.
Shear's got seems to be good here for the 1 cycle.
Yeah.
Oh, missed, do it. Yeah, there you go. Why did that not work?
I guess one of the bombs
hit?
must not have hit. Yeah, it might have been just barely off. So that hitbox is it's there, but there is a specific space where you have to hit it. So
that's not the usual troll hole. So I think one of the bomb placements was just slightly off. It is weird because you don't want it to be center. You actually want it to be like off to the left a little bit.
Yeah. But if you're like a little bit too forward or a little bit too back on it, then you are going to... And Shiro just having a hell of a time with that jump slash. I can relate.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly on the Ganon fight, like you're Z-targeting and jump slashing, but you're not jump slashing towards your Z-target, you're jump slashing off the side. You're like, what are you doing?
Link just feels bad, doesn't want to actually kill Ganondorf, because, you know, like, what's he really done wrong, other than everything he's done wrong, you know?
And you're starting to sound like a politician, Dobby. Are you running for public office? Have you considered?
Unfortunately, I suffer from disqualifying affliction. I have morals, so I can't be a politician.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's, you know what, that's a good point. Imagine caring about, you know, people.
Thank you for that, for getting that sound effect again. It is amazing video.
It is funny, but it's not one of my favorites, I will say that.
My personal hope is my favorite sound effect in the entire game is the sound of Talon running away when he thinks, like, after you wake him up, I want that as like a hover boot sound.
That would be pretty good. So, just in case anybody's wondering, the reason why Flare Dancer Laugh is one of the selectable options on for hover boot sound is because I requested it specifically. Because Cubs and I, we work together to determine what sounds were considered ear safe, and we're talking specifically about when they loop. Like, obviously, Rudo Wiggle is fine on its own, but maybe when it loops, it's so bad that you can't stand it. That's usually for stuff like Great Fairy Laugh or whatever. So we did that, and I said, okay, Cubs, while you're in there, would you add Flare Dancer Laugh to the drop down? And it's just been there. So I select that every time for my hover boots. I like Flare Dancer Laugh as hover boot sound. Anyway, that's a long story short and completely irrelevant to what we're watching here, but there is a good bit of overlap happening, and we're not going to find anything in Link because it's foolish. Shiro's heading into Ganon's, and Vid is just going to be checking some hints, which I don't believe we've seen. So Kiriway the hero. That's our third one then. And we got Hammer, so duh. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's that, because it was that or the wallet, and I don't think the wallet was Way the Hero because we got a free Goron tunic. So, probably not that. So, Vid's gonna do South Hyrule Field. I guess he was not going all around, way around Lake to check the hints, which happens sometimes. So Way the Hero means that the item is logically required to beat the seed. In DDR, that and in variable medallions, I can't really be entirely sure how it works because I almost never understand things and I just kind of just go with things. But Way the Hero basically means that it is logically required to beat the seed. Dobby can probably answer that a little bit better when he gets back.
Speaking of which, the short answer is exactly as Zach was saying. It's logically required to beat the seed. So if you were to remove that copy of that item from the game, logically you would no longer be able to beat the game. In this particular case, what that usually refers to is that is an item that's required to beat 2 dungeons or 2 medallion dungeons. That's usually what's going to end up being the case. The other possibility is it could lock something like magic, something like bow, or something like light arrows. Those are kind of the general things that it will be in these particular settings.
So basically with variable medallions, which is what this is, you just need 1 stone, any one of the 3 stones, and 5 medallions, any 5 of them, whatever, which often does lend itself to some linearity, but it's not always completely linear, and there are some choices, and sometimes we'll talk about, you went here, I went here. So with the variable medallions, it is a little bit more challenging for the game to determine things to be Way the Hero, and it's a little bit more difficult for us, the racer, to kind of figure out how something might be Way the Hero. A lot of times, especially since I started playing with these settings, I just kind of give up. I'm just like, okay. I'll go there and get whatever's there, but I'm not going to try to stress myself out trying to figure out what it means. Also, this is a very unhealthy seed. We are almost an hour in, and we have a combined total of 9 hearts between these two.
Yeah, and almost an hour in, 9 hearts, no condom, and no titties.
I know, what is this?
0 out of 10.
Yeah. And, if not vanilla, French vanilla ice trap, there are 2 of them in light trial and vanilla. That's a mood, Drew. Hey, it's Dampe. Look at that.
I would, but Big is standing in the way.
No, that's fair. Dampe turning out to be an absolute garbage human being today.
Well, we didn't. Did we see the? I forget what was on the adult one. I think it was also garbage. So
it was an ice trap and $50. So yes, it was garbage. We don't actually have chest size match contents in these settings. It is not a setting that our subsection of the community has chosen to use. And Dobby's gonna going to piss this chicken off to go into the bottom of the well. This is the only valid way of entering. And when I say only valid way, I'm 100% meaning, but yeah. You are required to anger the chicken to go into the bottom of the well.
It is, in fact, objectively the best way to enter the bottom of the well. How it works more specifically is that the game doesn't check like water physics during cutscenes, and so if you're able to get ISG and piss off the chicken as you're carrying it, then when you backflip, you're in the water when the cutscene starts, so you just go straight through. The same kind of mechanism is also what causes the Navi dive to work. You're in the Navi cutscene, and so the game doesn't check water physics. And yeah, there's supposedly some other way to enter bottom of the well, but I've never heard of it. Some weird song or something, I don't know.
Yeah, it's, yeah. I don't, that does not make any sense to me. Oh, Shiro. Not
Shiro
doing
getting style zone.
well with the, not doing well with the shieldless strats. Oh, is that what it's called, Drew? Weird.
Oh, Storm's Glitch? Yeah, that sounds about right. It seems very much unintended, so.
How much heat does Link's sword generate during ISG? That's a good question. Not enough to burn webs on its own without the glitch value from quick put away.
Maybe that's actually what causes it to work with quick put away, though.
I don't know, maybe.
Oh, also speaking, as X was mentioning for settings, we'll take also the chance to plug the Season 2 survey. So if you are at all interested in DDR when joining a race, we definitely recommend you to check out the survey. It only takes like 5 minutes to fill out. And even if you are not, we are still interested in finding out opinions from other parts of the community just to see what kind of settings they like, to have a better idea of like the impacts of the various settings we're picking. So either way, we would definitely appreciate you filling out the survey for the settings that we have in there. It only takes like 5 minutes. If there's any things you don't understand, we do encourage you can chat in the Discord, in the DDR discussion channel, which, if I can type the word Discord successfully the first try, yay me, you can ask around in there, or you can ping either Shiro or myself, or for the racing organization team. We'll be happy to explain any of the things to you.
I think there is actually a DDR settings discussion channel, but I don't remember because I think the argument got weird one night, and I was like, nah, I don't want to. I think I muted it, and I have not unmuted it since. I don't know.
The DDR S2 settings discussion is indeed still a channel. The threads are, I think, archived, so if you want to check out those, you can. But if you just post in the S2 settings discussion, also is a good place if you want like follow-up information.
Okay, I think that might be 3 or 4 of the ice traps in the game. I'm not sure though.
This game giving us the cold shoulder dance game.
I mean, that's just rando. Some might even say that. Oh,
Greg!
There's Greg.
Do it.
Oh,
Do it. No.
Oh, Vid.
What?
No. Oh, okay.
Banned.
Vid loses. Disqualified. I mean, honestly, like, I like to have a say-so in settings. I think it's, obviously you want to play something that's fun. And if settings are not fun, I mean, the Freaky Fridays are a perfect example. When I didn't like the settings, I would not play. And so, obviously, as an organization team, hook shot. As an organization team, you want the people playing to enjoy it. But at a certain point, like, yes, decisions have to be made by somebody.
And we did have, I think, did we have a Way of the Hero or a pet? Something told us to go to Bottom of the Well, didn't it?
I don't think so. We had Way of the Heroes, River, Deku, and Kokiri.
And maybe not. Either way, it's a good play in this case because Hookshot is required in the seed. One of the two.
I think Storms was pretty early though. I think it was on like Saria's or I don't know. It was early.
Oh yeah, for that glitch to get in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Which isn't logic.
Since it's like that glitch is like logically required. So.
Yeah, it's very weird that they have a glitch be logically required, but who are we to judge?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't write the logic, so I can't speak to it. Easy one cycle. Yep, we knew about the bow. Vid had gotten it earlier. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I keep getting all like gruggity. Whatever.
Also, yes, happy 1 hour, everyone. It's a good time to remind everyone that you guys are watching the DDR restream. So this is the DDR Weekly. It takes place at 11 a.m. Eastern Time every Saturday, though that is also something that's in the settings poll that is just above. But you know what? I've got it in my copy paste. If the timing doesn't work for you, you can also post it there. Side note. This, if you are not familiar with DDR is a glitched rule set between standard and no iron ROM warp that bans some of the most powerful glitches in the game, while allowing a lot of quality of life glitches. So some examples of things you will not see in this seed are item manipulation, wrong warping, and bomb hovering. So if you want the full list of things, you can check it out. That link there has a full list of globally banned tricks. The other thing that they will need to do is follow the entrance requirements. So in order to enter a dungeon, you have to enter more or less the intended way. And in order to enter a boss room, you need to stand in front of the door and press A, which as adult also requires the boss key.
And also, it does not stand for Dance Dance Revolution. Otherwise, Dobby and I would probably most assuredly be huffing and puffing right now and completely out of breath. Because I don't know about Dobby, but even walking up the stairs to my classroom gets me winded. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now.
Also, I presume if I tried dancing for Dance Dance Revolution, my girlfriend who's in the other room would suddenly manage to have like something like fly across the room because I'm that bad at dancing. There's like an AoE effect around me where people get worse at dancing by my mere presence.
Trez, we could maybe do that at the next in-person GDQ if it ever fucking happens again. Guys, please like get your vaccine and fucking wear a mask so we can actually, get together with people in a community setting again, please. It's been 2 years. I miss my friends. Thanks. I'm just like, I was so mad when GDQ 2020 got canceled, and then 2021, and then GDQ 2022 again, and I'm like, okay, can we maybe please? I miss my people. Yeah.
Also, take this opportunity to shout out our racers. We have Shiro on the left and Vidya on the right. Is that the right thing for Vidya? That was Vidya James. Oh, I guess it's just Vidya as the Twitch. Glad people who are smarter than me figured out added the Twitch names. And so these are both fantastic runners, both for OOTR stuff and beyond. So do recommend giving them a follow, as well as, of course, our wonderful trackers who do the work that none of us are able to do and actually keep track of the game and not make stupid jokes for 3 hours. So Quagsire and McCundy, as well as, of course, our restreamer who originally we had VXR, but now we have Trez who's helping out on the restream end. So thank you very much for there, as well as, of course, my co-commentator Axe, who would recommend you give her a follow. Very entertaining person, great emotes as well. So win-win.
I appreciate that. That's it always feels good to have people talking me up because I'm not very good at talking myself up. But yeah, I know this bitch, right?
I appreciate on the right side, Vidya has Din's Fire equipped on C right, and yet is doing the empty jump slash method to light torches. Thank you, Vidya. We see it and we appreciate it.
That empty jump slash is very, very difficult. I was having a lot of trouble and gave up on it after like an hour of trying.
And yes, it is a more precise trick in that you have to, if I remember correctly, the order of operations, You have to stand on the edge of the ledge, and then press A, then forward movement, and then B, one frame after each other, is I think the sequence.
Yeah, it's really fast. And I think it's very challenging. So,
and as we noted, he currently has Din's Fire and Magic, so could get in normally. So obviously it is not at all required to do that. But we appreciate the swag because it's a cool trick.
There's sometimes you just got to do something that's hard because you want to show it off.
That's what she said.
Oh god. But yeah, going back to what I said about like taking an hour to learn something and giving up, you do have to be kind of patient if you're going to try to learn glitches. Sometimes you're just not going to get it that day and you need to come back to it. It took me, I want to say like a year and a half of like attempting hookshot jump to finally get it and be able to do it. And now I can do it. So you just have to, sometimes you just have to table something if you're not getting it. Vid getting that early boss key. So if he gets a key here, well, he will get a key within these first 4. And then if he goes down, he'll probably do the cage clip and he'll do the back 3 chests that are beyond the boat, or that like once you ride the boat. And if he gets another key back there, then he can safely just skip half the dungeon and just do the boss. If he doesn't, then he will have to obviously go back and go through the dungeon, just because, you know, you don't want to use your only key on the boss door, because so let's say out of these first 4 checks and the 3 behind the boat, you only get 1 key. If you use that to open the room right before the boss door, then you cannot get into the other parts of the dungeon. You've fucked yourself. And it is very easy to key fuck yourself in Shadow.
The easy way to keep track of it is just make sure if you get a key in the last 3 chests, so after the boat, you're good. You're able to like open the door and get to the boss without any worry about key locking.
Yeah.
Is ISG hot enough to cook a chicken? Well, if ISG slaps it every frame, I would think yes. I forget how many slaps it takes to cook a chicken, but technically it works. If that's the case, when you pick up the chicken or the cucco for when you pick up the chicken to get at the bottom of the well, technically you might cook it if you stand there long enough.
I mean, and you're not throwing it in the water, so I mean, you're definitely not like boiling it, I guess. Is boiled chicken a thing? I don't know. I don't really cook.
It is, but it shouldn't be.
Okay, fair point. Yeah, asking me to cook is generally frowned upon, and we'll just go with that. So we do have Shiro and Vid in the same place. Shiro still doing shieldless. Shiro is very firmly in team never buy a shield. She will say, and this is her common quote, "The seed provides." It has not provided for her yet, unfortunately, but we can always, of course, be hopeful that she does find one.
So, fun fact for you guys, if it's 23,000 times to cook a chicken, OOT during the gameplay itself runs at 20 frames per second. So if you're using ISG to pick up a chicken, that means you're stabbing it every frame, so 20 times per second. Assuming it imparts the same amount of energy into the chicken as a slap does, it would then take 1,150 seconds to cook that chicken, which is about 20 minutes. You're welcome. This was important information that you all needed to know.
Today on Hyrule's Top Chef, I guess. It's fucking raw! Okay, I got that out of my system.
We're good. And that is fair. It is still faster than to cook a chicken in the oven. Just hold it over your head with ISG for 20 minutes and you cook it.
Or, and hear me out, you could just, go to the drive-thru and pick it up there.
Yeah, but that seems clearly like the most effort, as opposed to getting an infinite sword glitch and stabbing a chicken every single frame.
Okay, Grubhub? I mean, I don't know. Does Grubhub use ISG to get their chicken, to get my chicken here? No, they Hess. That's what it is. They Hess. They're definitely hessing to get to my house. Oh my god, I think we might have cracked, I'm not sure.
Yeah, just now. The rest of the restream, we've been perfect angels of sanity, but
completely normal.
Now! So, make a reminder for me later to add a note to the junket saying that it'll take 11 or 19.1 minutes to cook a chicken using ISG. Make a note to add that as one of the junkets.
I have submitted some interesting ones, I must say. I hope that some of them get picked. I know that some of them won't because they're just memes. Which, I mean, we like memes, but, you know. I kind of hope the one that I put that says Trezco, wherefore art thou Trezco gets picked, though. But maybe that's just because I'm a weird English teacher who can recite Shakespeare from memory.
Fair, you know? If anyone should be able to. Ooh,
yeah.
Shiro getting shot in the butt with the BMOS. Also, this is clearly why Real Rob is able to handle the complexities of pot sanity, of creating pot sanity, is taking and knowing all of the things you need to take into account for all these complex ideas.
One way to deal with the Stolfos, just ISG them. And that's kind of like... I love ISG because some people would say that it removes some of the skill, and I won't necessarily argue that. There are some things that, like, especially like with Phantom Ganon, you don't have to time, you know, you don't have to time the part where you're like volleying the ball back and forth, which is something that does frustrate me, especially because it speeds up, and I'm just not good at that. But ISG is just, it's fun, damn it. It's just fun.
It is one that is one we definitely recommend for people if you're just learning into getting into glitches. It's one that's really nice to see, like it's really nice to practice because like you can go to spots where it's infinite repeatable and takes like a second to set up, if that. So it's really nice for learning, and the applications are pretty vast. You can use it for combat to speed up things, as we saw with the Stalfos. It allows you to not fall off ledges, so it makes a lot of like precise movement a lot easier. And of course, one of the most satisfying things is doing the Phantom Ganon fight, because you can just stand there and it just kills himself.
Fire arrows inside Shadow. That's awesome.
That's also Chef's Kiss.
That's Shadow for you.
We do recommend, if you are looking to learn ISG or literally any other glitch, either for your casual playthroughs or to join races or anything like that, we do recommend you check out in the Discord the DDR discussion channel. If you ask in there, while learning a trick, there will be plenty of people who are willing to help you, as well as also there's a gameplay and trick section, which also has a lot of super knowledgeable people about glitches, including Dotso, who we've mentioned before, as well as Dusk, and Egg, who are all prominent members of the DDR community and love helping people learn glitches in the discussion channels and beyond. So definitely reach out to any of them or any of us if you want to learn any of this ridiculous shit you see here.
It's actually really, like, for me anyway, it's really satisfying when you're learning something and you finally get it and you're like, oh my god. And sometimes, like, you'll just try shit, like stuff that I never would have tried. I'm just like, I wonder if this works, and then you do it and it works and you're like, oh my god, I'm a god at this game. It just feels really, it's really, I know it's a different mentality than a lot of people have, but it can be extremely satisfying learning something, especially something that you maybe have watched a speedrunner do and you're like, oh wow, that's actually not as hard as it looks or something. So, I mean, to be fair, a lot of the shit that speedrunners do looks really easy because they do it freely without pause buffering. But some of the stuff you're like, I bet that's hard, and then you do it and you're like, okay, it's actually kind of reasonable.
And yeah, there are plenty of stuff that, like, if you're used to doing stuff like, for instance, in standard, a lot of the tricks that you skip, some of them, the glitch versions, they're actually, at least in my opinion, are easier. One very prominent example, King Zora skip as adult is the freest shit on the planet. Like, you target a wall and jump slash and you clip. Like, it is literally that easy. It's the best, and it's very satisfying to also give King Zora the finger as you go past him.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't want to say it the way that I was going to say it because somebody might get offended, but fuck that fat ass. And Vid has some ISG on Bongo, which is also very satisfying. ISG in general is just very satisfying. Sometimes I'll just get ISG and run around field just so I'm like Link waving my like pride flag around. Just for fun. Especially in June, because you know, Pride Month.
Seems appropriate time for sure.
Yes. But yeah, there are some glitches that are extremely versatile. ISG is one of them. Mega flipping and mega side hopping are another one that you can use in so many different places. When I first learned to mega flip, I was just like, oh, you know, this is cool. And then when I realized just how many applications it has, it really kind of opened things up for me a lot in terms of glitching. I'm like, man, there's so much you can do now.
Yeah, that is one of the like kind of basic techniques. And as we're saying earlier, if you are on a console that can pause buffer, there is a really consistent setup you can do with chews, where there are really nice visual cues of when to drop the chew, when to roll, when to backflip. So that's something if you're willing to learn and you have the ability to pause buffer, we do recommend. You can also do, of course, unbuffered with bombs or not, and they both open up a ton of the game just for either your casual playthrough or if you're planning on racing. It's super fun.
Yeah. If you're someone like me, up until recently played on emulator, you just learn everything unbuffered, and then Dotso is like, "Oh my god, I cannot believe you just attempted that unbuffered," and I'm like, which is really fun. Trolling Dotso is also a really fun thing about learning glitches. So, if you like trolling people, I do recommend.
So I just noticed that's a lovely target color for Navi for enemies. Love that color blue. But yes, there's also kind of the idea that you kind of need these glitches in order to win. Once again, it is glitchless logic. And during the DDR S1 tournament, specifically relating to mega flips, there have races that have both been won and lost on both sides from either knowing how to mega flip or not knowing how to mega flip. Some people had won a race because they did not know how to do a glitch. And so the person who knew how to do a glitch skipped past a check that otherwise had an important item. This actually happened to, I think it was actually Shiro who had unfortunately had that happen. Yeah. So it's not necessarily because you know the most glitches that you will win by any stretch.
Can't hurt, but yeah. Routing, I think, is even more important in DDR than it might be in standard. Because in standard... Titties! So in standard... you're gonna get the items. You need to. In DDR, you don't necessarily need to, depending on what it is. So you are gonna skip shit. I mean, that's just like kind of the nature of things. And like, you could finish a seed in an hour and 10 minutes, or you could look around for 4 hours and be like, oh my god, I can't believe it's this one thing I skipped. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Also, for those of you who are new to Randomizer, when we screamed out titties. So that item that Shiro pulled over her head is it's a model that was made specifically for Randomizer to differentiate double defense from heart containers. And double defense is it enhances the defense, obviously, doubles it. But also because of it being DD, the phrase it was kind of like equated obviously to, you know, boob sizes, and then thus became titties. So we're not just like randomly like watching porn or something. So I know that some of you probably are not familiar with the meme, so I wanted to explain that for sure.
Probably good to just have people wondering why we're randomly shouting out titties in the middle of a restream.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there are places where it's definitely not appropriate. Like I said, I'm a teacher. If I started streaming out titties, they might have something to say about that. Although, honestly, my students have said far worse. So, you know. No, yeah, we do have a lot of memes in the community, and we try to be. We realize that not everybody has watched Randomizer for 3-4 years, and so we do try to explain those. Yeah, I am a teacher. I teach 8th grade, which is middle school here in the United States. I've been teaching for 6 years, which is actually longer than I've been playing Rando. So there is that. So, yep, you get all kinds of people. You have people from like all different sort of just different areas. We have people from all around the world in the randomizer community and in the DDR community as well. We've got, so sometimes of course it is difficult to schedule races. So this 11 a.m. time, which is, it's kind of in like the, I know that, I know that, Joss. But it's kind of this, you know, we have to find a time that kind of works for a lot of people, and it is sometimes really hard to do that, so. But yeah, the reason I don't teach high school is because high school starts at like 7:05 in the morning, and fuck that.
And yes, speaking of timing for the weeklies, yeah, if the 11 a.m. doesn't work for you and you do want to participate, it is a really good time once again to plug the survey. So this is the settings survey for S2 of DDR, and one of the things that is on there is the timing for the weeklies. Since we have a not insignificant portion of the player base that is not able to make the current time, and so if you are looking to try it out, we do recommend you check out the survey and fill in that section for what time works for you for weeklies. And even if you don't want to participate, we still want to hear from the entire community, see what kind of settings people like and don't like outside of our little bubble, just to see what kind of impacts the settings we pick end up having. So do recommend you fill it out either way. It only takes about 5 minutes, so.
So, I know this is super duper off topic, but the reason why the early start times is our start times are staggered over an hour between levels, so high school, middle school, and elementary school, and it's for bus routing. That's literally why. He probably did, but you don't really need the lens, so. So in terms of also the time and the racing, we would love it if DDR would get big enough that we needed to have 2 weeklies, like the standard weeklies, where there is an NA and an EU weekly. I think that a lot of us in the DDR community would absolutely love to go to that point where we actually can have 2 weeklies that consistently many people show up to. Unfortunately, we are kind of in between seasons right now. There is a huge standard tournament going on. There's also a bingo tournament happening in the OoT speedrunning community. And a lot of us do kind of double dip. We work, you know, we do bingos, we do OoT speedruns, we play rando. So it's very hard to obviously schedule around that. So we're in kind of a between phase right now, but we would love it if we would get to the point where we're getting, you know, 30, 40 people in a weekly every single week consistently, and where we actually would want to have 2 weeklies. We probably wouldn't be able to restream them quite as frequently, but that'd be okay, I think. I don't think I would be, I don't think that like worrying about restream is like a reason to not do something or to do something. So that's me.
Yeah, I personally agree for sure. Rather have people playing than strictly have a restream.
But
yeah, MMR definitely has more difficult games in terms of the bow. This one has some annoyance, especially with NA aim on VC. But thankfully, they're not that bad compared to MM.
I mean, I'm gonna have NA aim no matter what console I play on. When I played this game on Nintendo 64 in the 90s, horseback archery just was not a thing that I did. I would 100% the game except for the bow upgrades. And that was it. That was how it worked.
Yeah, I think as a kid, and still now, I do pot strats. I've got muscle memory from being a kid and doing pot strats.
Yeah, I don't even know what I did, but I know that I didn't. I know that I got mad. Me getting mad at video games is something that has persisted for literally 30 years. So
I think I still do. There's the puzzle in Twilight Princess where you just before the Master Sword. And, like, I used to speedrun that game, and I never did the speedrun strat because I had the muscle memory from doing it casually as a kid, so I just did it that way, even though it's technically slower.
Oh, hey, there's the other hook shot. Yeah, so, that's Child Goron City and Bottom of the Well are hook shots.
And that's interesting because we had we had a Way of the Hero for Goron City, which likely means that both of the hook shots are logically required. Water, we know that's the case, but that probably means there's a key on the one of the hands of Spirit.
Did we get a hint for Goron City? I must have missed it.
Think so? What the? No, did we get a? I thought we got a Goron City. Maybe I'm completely full of shit. That's also possible.
I am definitely not the person. If Child Goron City has screwed me many times in a rando, and will continue to do so because it is so out of the way, and I just don't go there. So that is just whatever. Getting a hint there that is not necessary. The Ganondorf music is not quite working for Goron City, I'm just saying.
But, you know, Papa Darunia is gone, and so this is clearly the most dire situation. And Zelda's been kidnapped, and that's fine, she does that every other game. But yeah. Darunia's missing, oh.
I mean, it's pretty bad. I mean, he's got the sweetest dance moves. I mean, what are you gonna do without that?
Yeah, in DDR, you know, category or rule set, clearly we need the best answer to be saved.
Of course, yeah. And I'm still petitioning to put that cutscene back in the game.
It is a good cutscene.
Yes. It should just be vanilla, like we do in all randomizer variants. It should just automatically be that we have that cutscene. So both Vid and Shiro actually use the hammer to knock those little I don't know what they're called. Somebody called them a totem the other day, and that's probably the most accurate. But there's a clip that you can do to get past those, and I think it's actually a little bit faster. So it's weird to me that they didn't do that, but to each their own, of course.
If there is a clip you can do, it's pretty simple because you just get in the corner, side hop, side roll, crouch tap twice, and then jump slash. So it's pretty fast to set up and pretty consistent. But it's not that much slower to use the hammer. So
yeah,
you do you, Sam.
I find myself doing that even if I have the hammer, just because I'm so used to it at this point. That clip is also very useful in other places. So if you get to Kakariko at night, but you want to do shooting gallery, yeah, you don't need to wait till day. You don't have to play Sun Song. You can just you know, just clip in.
And though you broke into a shop, the guy who runs the archery shop is perfectly happy to have you play the game, even though you broke in. It's very convenient.
Yeah. You can clip into a good number of the buildings in CAC, actually. The Adult Bazaar is very things too, is like with this one, and a lot of things actually do have audio cues. Like for me, with Mega Flips, that's something I do pay attention to as an audio cue, just because I just kind of know instinctively like how long I've heard whatever sound, and it doesn't always work because sometimes I'm just bad, but you know, that's just OOT. Sometimes you're just bad at this game. I can't wait to see what the music is for Ganondorf and for Ganon. That's gonna be fun, I think. Oh god, Shiro, no!
Oh, Shiro, no!
I saw that coming too. Oh no, she's probably really mad. I would be too.
That's a big sad.
I would be cursing up a storm right now.
Yeah. I have unfortunately also done that.
Yeah, it feels so bad too because it's so long to have to ride the boat again. I've done it a couple times too, where like I've gone on the boat and I'm like, okay, BRB, and like go to the bathroom and you come back and you fall and you're like, mm-hmm. That is also
every time the Navi sound effect is just chef's kiss. Yeah, we did have a restream once that it came down to less than a second. It was amazing. I forget who was. I know it was Keymaker was one of the people who was racing. I forget who was the other one. But like, yeah, it was like literally at the end, Keymaker did like a jump slash instead of moving forward and pressing B, and it was within the difference there.
Wow. I love when races are like that. Like, you know, sometimes 1v1s are super one-sided, especially in a tournament setting where, you know, you're going to put the top seeds against the lower seeds because that's just how tournaments generally tend to kind of function. So you'll have somebody who's, you know, exceptionally good versus somebody who maybe is still learning or is just not, you know, not quite there. So sometimes those races can be very lopsided, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes, you know, especially like the standard tournaments these days, they're very tight all around, you know? And that's, boomerang. So we do not need the toilet paper to get past King Zora. That is not necessary. But yeah, you'll find like there's the competition's gotten very heavy in some of these, and DDR is at its core really a learning rule set and less of a competitive rule set. We do have tournaments, we do have races, but at the end of the day, and I think actually Sage said this best, that you're kind of racing against yourself, and you're racing against the things that, you know, you're learning and watching yourself make progress. And hey, I did this thing better than before, or I got this first try instead of 25 tries. So you are learning. You know, that's what a lot of us are celebrating, is the process of learning and not necessarily winning. Not that winning is bad, but you know, it's nice to just be like, hey, I learned a thing today.
You also see that a lot of times, like in this case, Vidya had the Din's Fire, and so it would have been faster to open Shadow with Din's Fire. But we also tend to just like, you know, it's good practice sometimes to do something you don't necessarily need, just to make sure you still have the muscle memory. And sometimes because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's slower, but who cares?
Yeah. I mean, again, like this is not a race that matters. You know, it's not something that anybody is going to. We're not like staking our lives on this. Nobody's got a big bet going on it. We're just having a good time. So it doesn't matter if you lose because you did an extra strat or because you spent extra time working on a strat that you didn't get first try. Like that's not the issue for a lot of us. So, and I think that does kind of run contrary to a lot of the way that a lot of standard players play the game, which is, you know, they are absolutely, and I don't want anybody to say that I'm saying anything wrong, but that, you know, that's the way that some people like to play. But if you want a more chill, like less competitive environment, DDR is a really great place for that, because we're all here to we just want to have fun and maybe break the game a little bit, or a lot.
Usually a lot.
As much as possible without
again,
causing soft locks or crashes.
And sometimes doing that, I found out the hard way that apparently a Hess could crash the game as a child. Whoops.
Yeah, you know, everybody does it at least once, I think.
Yeah, and MJ, not everyone can win, but everyone can get better than they are, and really, that's really how you win, is just improving upon yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it like, oh my god, I can never compete with people like Dotso. Well, okay, but he's speedrun this game. He knows practically everything. He's probably been instrumental in, like, he's found several setups for things. Yeah, you probably aren't going to beat Dotso, but you know what? Dotso's a great resource, and I don't need to beat Dotso. I got Dotso in my corner to teach me shit. That's way better, you know? But someday I'm going to beat him, I promise.
Yeah, and it definitely also, not to say that it's going to be impossible to beat someone who's super well glitched. It happens all the time. Emo Soda has beaten DDR players just without any glitches whatsoever, just because routing's super important. And that tends to be something that a lot of DDR players struggle with, because as we're saying, we're too concentrated on memeing and doing random bullshit. But like routing becomes super important when you have so much of the world open. Knowing where to go is super critical and super important, and can save you tons of time. So like it's absolutely possible to beat anyone in the DDR community, just but with good routing and proper execution. 100%. Emo's done it, and you could do it too.
Yeah, and I think too, like, not all, because, you know, we all have different, you know, backgrounds and stuff, but there are a few there are a few DDR players who didn't really play standard rando before they came into the DDR community. They may have come from speedrunning or the bingo community. And so they probably don't have the same background in routing as, say, somebody who plays standard. So there's a lot. You're talking about Death Mountain Crater Canadian, and I know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, like I can't finish a sentence. I it must be driving people crazy, but
Finishing sentences is.
So Vid is actually going to get the Gerudo card, although you don't technically need it. You can do a ledge clip to get into GTG without the Gerudo card. But I don't even think he'd want to open the gate because he has Requiem. You don't need to open the gate. So, maybe he doesn't know the ledge clip. Maybe he doesn't want to do it. Really,
I think it might barely be faster with his current equipment, like if at all, because we have it set to 1 guard. So like you can just come in here and do it really quickly.
That's true. Yeah. There was some talk about re-enabling 4 guards, but that is definitely a barrier to entry to somebody who's used to playing standard and having to do only 1 guard. And if you don't know how to do that ledge clip, it's a lot more punishing, you know, as opposed to, I mean, okay, you don't know how to do a mega flip, so you have to use hover boots to get across Death Mountain Crater to the Bolero song. That's not a huge deal, you know? So, but something like that where, you know, you have to do all 4 carpenters while somebody else doesn't, that can be very, that could be a lot more punishing. Yeah, ledge clipping, it is frame perfect like most things, so. Ledge clipping is another very useful, very versatile glitch as well. There are many places you can use a ledge clip.
And is probably why a lot of DDR players hate the Scarecrow, or like Pierre in Water Temple.
Yeah.
He sucks and I hate him.
Yeah, he gets in the way, for sure. Free Scarecrow is definitely not a setting we will be enabling in the DDR races ever. Although that ledge clip is also a lot harder because you can't do the usual side hop method because you're going to target the ZL poster thingy.
Yeah, you can pause buffer the side hop, and it does work, but that does mean it takes more time.
Yeah. The recovery heart in GTG, wonderful. So I'm kind of curious as to, so like Vid could go to Water Temple right now, and we know water's foolish. He does need the mirror shield, but I mean he could go to water, or he doesn't necessarily need mirror shield. He could go to water and forest right now, and he doesn't really. I guess he doesn't really need to be in GTG.
Yeah, it depends on the level of comfort because you like not having iron boots in Water Temple. You can do it, for sure. There are a lot of glitches that allow you to access various parts. Theoretically, you don't need iron boots at all, but that is like a more difficult thing to do. So if you're not quite comfortable with it, I can definitely understand going through this just to hope to find like iron boots. Nice weird shot.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
He just did Video just did a glitch called Weird Shot. I would explain it, but it's real weird. So
it's extremely weird.
The TLDR is if you roll into an explosion and use hookshot in a particular way, you get shoved below the floor and can hookshot from there. Why that works?
OoT.
OoT.
That's the answer for just about everything. It's just OoT.
Yeah. Why are my taxes so high? Because OoT.
And capitalism.
But mostly it's the OoT thing. And Ice Pino, so foolish, it's one of the hints that we have that to let us know that Water Temple is foolish. And that just means that there's no major items there. Logically, you do not need to go do anything in that temple other than possibly beat it. So it's kind of the reverse of like Way of the Hero, where Way of the Hero is logically required. Foolish is kind of logically useless.
You might find something like Big Goron Sword in there, or like that's like I don't know, ice arrows, I guess. It's a major item, but it's not needed.
Yeah, it's something that won't open up any more of the game to you.
I think Shiro might be heading to Forest. She has her fish. So we have affectionately named the fish Susan, and Susan is a good Susan if we get the cutscene skip first try, obviously. But she is going to be doing forest. She'll be the first one to go into forest. And Shiro actually has a Susan emote, and I like never use it, and I should. So let me actually hunt for that. There we go. There it is.
Yeah.
And of course, Shiro does all of her own emotes as well.
And they are all fantastic. Would recommend.
Yeah, she does my emotes, she does Dotso's emotes, she does her own emotes, some of the ZSR emotes, and some of the Zooter emotes. But yes, she does. She likes to art, and we are all very thankful for that.
I think she might have done some of the ones for D&D as well, but I'm not sure.
That is possible.
Don't know if she's done any of the D&D ones, but yeah, she does a lot of emotes, and they're all fantastic.
Yeah. Definitely made my emotes making skills feel very inadequate, but that's okay. You know, I can't be good at everything. I could try, but, you know, I gotta pick my battles. Alright.
Well, so we do see that the poke cutscenes get on Jiro's side, which I think you were starting to explain, Jack, so you can go ahead.
Yeah, so I did kind of bring this up a little bit, but so what she's doing now is she's buffering the right frame. You want to have the right frame to drop the fish. So if you drop the fish and then you catch it again, you'll catch it during the cutscene or the beginning of the cutscene, and you will be able to regain control during the cutscene. So now see how she caught the fish. The elevator's still up. The Poes are going to spawn here, and she's going to regain control, and now she can ride the elevator instead of the elevator going down to its normal position. So now the elevator is going to go down. It will sometimes sit there, and you have to just side hop or jump to get it to go down. But this is a very fast way to skip 90% of Forest Simple, especially if you get an early boss key, which is what you're hoping for if you're coming down here. This is also really useful in like a bingo if you need to get all 5 of the 4 simple skulls. You don't have to go through and do all 4 of the Poes and get the bow chest, but you get an ice trap instead in Rando because that's Rando.
One thing to note though is that that anything that causes the dungeon to reset will put that elevator back in its downed position. So we'll basically undo the progress you've made. So that includes such things as dying and resetting. But also includes some somewhat surprising things like using FW, as well as getting caught by a wall master will all cause the dungeon to reset, and we'll put the elevator down. So you do have to be careful to avoid that.
And soft locking on Phantom Ganon. Which is something that I did. Something I did once, did not know that it was a thing. I might be the first person to have ever done that. And it was really just a simple hookshot clip, but I just, oops.
Yeah, apparently you can hookshot clip outside of past the gate that normally blocks you from getting back to the door that you entered. And yeah, when you're there, you can't hit Ganon, the Phantom Ganon, and Phantom Ganon can't hit you. So
Yeah, that was a very, very annoying because that wasn't a race, and I did have to reset Forest and go do the entire dungeon, and I was very pissed. I was extremely mad because, the boss key skip is not allowed. I did kind of bring it up, though. I was like, so if you open the door the right way the first time and something happens, like you die, maybe could we be allowed to do the boss key the second time around, or the skip the second time around? I think the general consensus was no, but it was an interesting discussion at least, and it was really just me like, how many times am I going to make that same dumbass mistake? Literally no other time, because I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
And it is really funny too, like when you start doing glitches, like sometimes you just do shit that you're like, what the fuck? And I've clipped so many things, or I've had people in my chat clip so many things to be like, what is this? And then we send it to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, that's a thing that happens. And you're like, it is? So it is amusing sometimes.
my personal favorite is during the dead hands fights. If you like do the jump to like avoid getting caught by the hands, and like the like, I don't even know what it is. The dirt it spreads up when it gets shot out, it pushes you in a certain way, so like it pushes you out of the radius of the hands. Link will get caught in the like animation for getting choked by the tentacle things, while not actually getting choked by the tentacles, and so he just stands there choking himself. And I personally find that hilarious because it's not the time for Link's kinky shit, but we don't judge.
It's a Vader choke. I find your lack of faith disturbing.
That is also appropriate. I love it.
I can't take full credit for that. It came from Cubs, but every once in a while, everybody's allowed to be funny sometimes.
Even Cubs, surprisingly.
Yeah. Cubs, if you're hearing this, I am fucking kidding. Don't get mad at me. We like to talk friendly smack, but we also like to make sure that our friends know that it is in jest and in good fun. This is not the right music for horseback archery. What the fuck? This doesn't work at all.
I don't know what to tell you, Axe. It's randomized music. Of course it's not going to be the right music.
I know, but I mean, this is the weirdest. This is not. Yeah, so this is an early enough boss key that you could skip doing all the pose, and it feels really good to skip doing all the pose.
That is something you'll typically see a lot, in particular, especially if you have Minuet and an early boss key, is you can just go beat the boss, and then next time you come back, you won't have to worry at all about the elevator being gone, because you've already beaten the boss. So if you do have to double dip, it's not the end of the world.
So, Vid is getting a Hess. Shiro's trying to do, there is a damage boost that you can use to not have to go into the room. This skips a key usage. So, this is one of those things that I tried unbuffered, and Dotso yelled at me for trying unbuffered.
It gets frame perfect.
Yeah, I mean, so's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Technically, no, not ground jumping. Technically, I'm trying to think.
ISG
it's like something really, yeah. And ISG is like pretty free. Most people would say.
But yeah, how that's working is that you wait till the second frame of recoil, and that gives you a bunch of speed. And hover boots, when you equip them, allow you to maintain speed really, really well. And so when you equip hover boots on that frame, it gets you that really long jump that then you're able to reach this platform over here.
That's a gold scale down there on that platform that Dobby found.
I found it, Pog.
Yeah, that could actually that's kind of I would grab that. That's Water Temple. That's almost everything in Water Temple then, because gold scale Water Temple is actually pretty much a lot easier than Iron Bootless, gold scale, less Water Temple.
Yeah, and if you're able to get to the, typically what you'll do is you either do the ledge clip or long shot or gold scale scrat to get to that first, ZL spot that you lower the water. And once the water's fully lowered, then you can basically clear everything else with that.
Especially, you can just save warp and come back to the top at literally any time, which will allow... It allows a lot more movement. I play a lot of Beta Quest, and so if you save warp, you're not going to end up in Water Temple still. So you're going to end up...
FW extra good in BQ.
Yes. Assuming you have both FW and magic, although if you have FW, you automatically have magic, but yeah.
And one of the things that rando players might not be used to in the vanilla game, and also in BQ, as it's based on vanilla, you have to get the magics, you have to get vanilla magic before you get any of the other magic spells. You can't just go directly to Dins and grab that first.
Yeah, I've tried that. I was like, oh, okay, today I learned. And that's the thing, is even if you've played this game a lot of times and you know this game inside and out, I still find that I'm learning stuff about this game all the time. I'm like, oh, that's a thing? Some of the things that you learn, the flags that, prevent or start start or stop things, they'll surprise you sometimes. Oh, that's all you need for that? Lax is a perfect example. Like learning that you only need Shadow and Spirit Medallion in order to trigger the Lax cutscene, and then thus to open to spawn the Rainbow Bridge. I was like, what? That's how it is. That's the vanilla game.
Yeah. It's a classic Nintendo thing they do where they assume that if you've managed to get X item, you've gotten all of these prerequisites, so don't bother checking for them. Which we appreciate. Don't fix that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So Shiro's gonna do shield this Phantom Ganon, and this seems not fun.
You can use a bottle. It also works here, as I'm pretty sure. So if you do happen to not have a shield, which, you know, if you're on team, I'll always buy a shield, or on team, buy a shield if it's convenient, I guess. But, you know, if you don't run into one or don't have the money, then like you can buy it later. It's probably fine. Which is my team and has the best acronym. Then, you know, you probably just use ISG here.
Wasteland chest. Meanwhile, Shiro's fighting with Phantom Ganon, who has done what we call the Pride Spear attack, which is one that he does after he is damaged past a certain point. It's like his rage mechanic, I guess.
Like, I think playing casually, I never saw that attack. I only found it existed in, like, Rando. Because I think honestly, it's like... I think it only happens he gets to, like, 1 HP or something like that. It's, like, 1 hit from death, basically.
But this fight right now perfectly encapsulates the reason why I prefer ISG for this fight, and it's because of the way that the light balls speed up as you sling them back and forth. And I just like I was never good at athletics or, you know, any of those types of things. So I can't, you know, I can't play tennis. I can't play tennis. So, you know,
sleight of hand, stealth, all the basic skills, you know.
Yeah. So Vid's doing some Hyrule Field stuff.
Big sword.
Yeah. Looked like an arrow for a second. So
and that was also...
Shiro needs 1 more medallion, and Vid needs 2 more. So we'll see how this kind of plays out.
And Shiro, I know, does know a lot of the strats for Water Temple. I don't know if she knows the center pillar, because that one sucks. I know Dotso was teaching her, but I forget if that was one that she said no, because it is quite difficult, especially without a gold scale.
I don't know, actually. I have no idea, but she may try it, you know. I like Shiro's strat of going to dungeons. Vid doing a lot of overworld. I always seem to get screwed when I do a lot more overworld checks, which shouldn't be the case. If you're playing your odds and you're like, okay, so he went to GTG. GTG has a lot of checks, so you naturally kind of assume that there's probably going to be something good there. But that's not always the case, you know? So sometimes if you're just playing the odds and you know which places have the most checks, you know, GTG is one of them, Bottom of the Well is one of them, and you just go to those places, statistically and mathematically, they should have a better chance of having items, and they do, but that doesn't always mean that they do have the items. So sometimes it's... I wouldn't say counterintuitive, but sometimes you're screwed by using your mathematical brain or whatever. Kak is on the hero's path. Okay, and and Shiro's got strength.
We also did see a really nice test there from Video to get across Hyrule Field. We do note it is one of the most satisfying places to test because it's such a big area, so like you really feel the speed. But we do note that I've heard from Arthur that apparently if you do if you set up Hess perfectly using the fastest possible setup, you only save about 12 seconds compared to backwalking. To go and that's going the entire length of the Hyrule Field, so going from castle to lake. So it's really not that much of a time save compared to just backwalking.
I think that is a misconception that a lot of people have, too, is that like, oh my god, I have to know how to Hess. I'm going to be so much slower if I can't Hess. Hessing is not something that you just do everywhere. First of all, it uses a bomb, assuming that you get it first try. So you're using an explosive, and explosives are not infinite. But not only that, there's some places where there's no point to hessing. You know, you're not going to hess in like Kakariko Village, really, or you know, in Zora's Domain. Those are not places where you would. So, it's really on the lower end of glitches that you quote unquote need to be successful at DDR. Like, if a Hess decided a race, I would be very surprised.
Yeah, typically it's such a minor time save that, like, you're much more likely, like, so doing a Hess versus dodging a Hess will save you in the order of a couple seconds. Going to a barren dungeon to try and find an item will lose you minutes. So, like, routing is by far more important than whether or not you happen to land all the Hesses that collectively might save you 45 seconds.
Exactly. And yeah, and of course, every time you fail something, you know, you're losing time from not doing it first try. Which, you know, sometimes it's more about the principle. It's like, I'm gonna do this fucking trick if it kills me. And sometimes, you know, you have to kind of weigh that against things too. Again, if you're just trying to win, then yeah, you don't want to spend time doing something that you're less than successful at. But if you're just trying to maybe learn something or get better at a particular trick, and that's me, then you'll just sit there and just do it as many tries as it takes. There have been streams where I have reset this room that Vid's in like 400 times. I've reset this. I've reset it so many times. I'm like, I'm gonna get this damn thing, because and it would have been faster to just do forest, but I didn't want to. I wanted to get the trick. So sometimes stubbornness can be to your detriment. And Shiro's doing a setup to open this up with just the hook shot, but no iron boots. Obviously, if you have no iron boots, you can ocarina dive. But once you land your ocarina dive, you're not going to be able to see to use your hook shot. You're not going to be able to pull your hook shot out. So you have to open that before you do the ocarina dive. And that is a setup to do it. It's pretty precise, but it's also not terribly difficult to do. Right, Arashi, but sometimes sequence breaking can cost you, because if you miss something that's important, then, you know.
Yeah.
Was it only 20 Canadian? Was it only 20? I don't know if it was only 20. Sorry. Go ahead.
And yeah, it's definitely like really nice to get the sequence break ones first. As we've been mentioning, they're not required, but if you do want to learn some like nice sequence break stuff, there are some really nice ones that can skip some prominent item requirements. Notably, what we see Shiro doing here to skip Iron Boots for Water Temple, as well as there's some notable ones in order to skip the like Silver Block in Spirit Temple. That's another one that skips some notable items you might otherwise need.
Skipping the silver block in GTG is a lot more difficult. Both Dotso and Sage did that in the No Logic finals, and it required a lot of buffering, and it was really cool. But I was like, okay, yeah, that looks really, really hard and not fun. But they both got it, and it was really cool. So that was a really fun race to watch and to do commentary on. We definitely lost a good one. So. And Vid's stream died.
Rip.
That is unfortunate. So I guess we are going to just watch Shiro. She's going to do Ironless Water. And Vid appears to be back.
Oh, there we go. Must have just been a blip.
Yep. That does happen. Sometimes the internet is stupid.
We do see on Shiro's side, she's going for a ledge clip. So how this works is that there's one frame as an adult that you're kind of partially inside the wall when you grab a ledge on certain ledges, and if you retarget on that frame, it causes you to go fully lodge inside the wall. That only works as adult; it doesn't work as child. But conversely, child is able to vine clip, whereas adult can't. So each has their kind of specialties when it comes to doing things you're not supposed to.
So Shiro is doing the aforementioned out of bounds swimming that we love so much.
Out of bounds swimming in OoT, where Link has this about the same swimming ability as a rock that's been tied to a thing of spaghetti. But you know, you can sort of get the job done. Ooh, nice, nice there. Vidya got the like the skip to get over to the early section.
This is another thing. You don't need strength for these blocks here. So he's not doing that, but you don't need strength for those blocks. You can actually do ground jumps and kind of jump around them from a certain angle. Pretty actually easy. So Shiro got compass chest here, and it is a small key.
Also, happy 2 hours, everyone. This is a good time to remind everyone that you guys are watching the DDR weekly race. This is our monthly restream for our weeklies. And DDR is a glitched rule set between standard and no iron realm worth that allows a lot of quality of life glitches while banning some of the most powerful glitches in the game. Some of the glitches you will not see today. You will not see any item manipulation. You will not see any wrong warping, and you will not see any bomb hovering, notably. You can check the full list here if you want to see exactly what is and is not allowed. The other restrictions you'll see is that they have to enter dungeons more or less the intended way. And to get into boss rooms, they have to stand in front of the door and press A, which as adult requires the boss key.
So it looks like Vid is going through and actually doing For Simple, which Shiro skipped a good bit of. So that may turn out to get him something useful, but Shiro is also in her last medallion dungeon, so she's going to very likely be the first one to get the first one of the two to get the light arrows hint from
That's
Ganondorf.
at this point. I think that's the only thing that Shiro really needs is the light arrows. And well, she needs right now. She needs the boss key.
Yeah.
But then after that, all she needs is the.
Yeah. And so now she's in the space where she can lower the water, and that is going to basically open up the entire dungeon. So that's what we've got. And if Shiro might actually just beat the shieldless at
She
this
could.
point.
If anyone would, it would be Shiro.
Yeah. It really depends on the seed. It's very hard to say. I've seen these go sub 1 hour, which is actually kind of insane. But they sometimes over 3 hours. It just really depends on, you know, if the light arrows are somewhere really stupid, like behind whatever song is on OoT, then we have to go do Jabu. That's going to take another like 20 minutes or something. So it really just depends on item placement in a lot of cases, and it also can take. It also definitely depends on the skill of the racers that are on the restream. If they're very talented and they're very, you know, they have good execution, they're really good at routing, then it's obviously going to be a lot quicker than, you know, people who are less experienced. So that is definitely a factor too. Oh,
there's the light
arrows in for a sample, which Shiro skipped most of. So
she'll have to go back for those.
Yep.
Oh, and before I forget, we also should shout out once again at the 2 hour mark our wonderful trackers who are keeping track of the game and may or may not be in the bathroom. I don't know if they're back yet. But Quagsire and McHundy, both, as well as No Pen Knowing Girl, who I think might have been scheduled to do it earlier. And so thank you anyway for, if you did help out or were scheduled to. Keeping track of all the races is an incredibly difficult task that we suck at because we're too busy making stupid jokes. So having people who can do that properly is always impressive. Well, yeah, of course, shouting out our runners, Shiro and Vidya, and our restreamer Trez, who has disappeared mysteriously. But it's fine. We don't need Trez, right? We definitely need Trez.
I see. I'm not going to say that because I've met Trez in person, and I have a feeling I'm going to meet Trez in person again, and he'll give me like a wet willy or something. And you know. So the first time I met Trez, I was with Cubs. We were at AGDQ 2020, and Trez came in, walked into the hotel. He and DB, Dragon Bane Zero, and Cubs flipped Trez off as the first thing. Like the first time you ever meet somebody, he just flips him off. I'm like, Cubs, what the fuck, man? And Trez was like, well, fuck you then, and he came over and gave me a hug. I mean, all in good fun, of course, but you know, we did have a really good time. And then we went to, I think it was TGI Fridays, and I had already eaten, so I was not hungry, but I ordered food anyway, which was kind of a stupid idea, but we had a good time anyway. Definitely recommend going to a GDQ or some other community event if you ever get a chance to do so. It is absolutely worth it. Obviously expensive, but you get to meet people that you've actually that you've been, you know, talking to online for a long time, and it's really, really great, and it's fun and it's cozy, and they're like all just good friends. Yeah, it wasn't that good. I'll be honest, it wasn't that good. But whatever, they had alcohol at least, so there wasn't a total loss. Alright, so Shiro's going into Spirit. I guess giving up on water for the moment.
Or she might... Oh no, she might be using that to warp.
Yeah, yeah, okay, using furores. That's actually a smart plan. Didn't even think of that.
Smart.
I mean, to be fair, like, most chain restaurants in the United States are probably all really crap, but we're so used to it at this point that we just kind of pass it off as, like, normal and or good. So... Oh, dude, I could go for some Five Guys.
I don't think they have any Five Guys in Montreal, and it makes me sad.
I think it was on New Year's Day. I said something like, wow, it's the first day of the year and I've already had Five Guys. My boyfriend was like, I'm fucking disowning you. Dude, I know McDonald's is crap, but it doesn't stop me from wanting McDonald's sometimes anyway. So you can skip the room that Vid is in right now. You don't have to actually turn this room around. So this room that he's in right here, if you don't turn it around, there's like a staircase. You can do a ledge clip from that staircase, and you can actually clip into and land in this room. It is a little finicky, and I firmly recommend that you kill the Wallmaster first, so that it doesn't grab you. But it is, if you don't like doing that room, then you can, you know, do a ledge clip to get past it.
It's once again one of those tricks that is by no means required, but it does save a little bit of time.
Yeah, it was required for me once in a no logic seed, so because there was not a key that I could use to open the door, so I had no choice. But actually, I think there are other ways, but I don't like those ways, so we just pretend they don't exist.
Just BK skip 5-head.
Yeah, I did, and I still didn't get enough keys. I needed to get. There was an item back there, I think, that I needed. I don't remember. I play a lot of no logic seeds. It's hard to keep them all straight.
Yeah. This does seem fair.
It's hard for me to do anything straight. LGBT joke. We'll go ahead and put my pride emote in the chat for
Please
everybody.
Do.
Oh,
wait, why didn't it work?
Because I typed it wrong, because I'm an idiot.
Typing too hard, please nerf.
Because that's not my prefix. Maybe if I were a partner, it would be, but you have to have viewers to get partners, so it's not happening anytime soon. So.
Speaking of which, shout out to my co-commentator Axiani. So check her out. The second link. Don't bother with the first one.
Dobby does play this game sometimes. Don't sell yourself short. You are, of course. I mean, we're having a good time here on commentary. Something that I know you do commentary a lot more than I do, especially for these restreams for DDR, especially because you are one of the organizers, and so it's kind of something that you just do is you do commentary for the restreams that we have. But you know.
Yeah, I'm a commentary main now.
Yeah, and I do it much less frequently than I used to, but you have to, you know, you just got to do what you got to do. Yeah, see, that's the thing. This isn't 2015, unfortunately. It's 2020 3.0, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's accurate. Also, MJ, I do personally
the
like
director's cut.
The director's extended edition.
Yeah.
And yes, I do like A&W. We actually have one like right nearby. It's it's very convenient. I do quite like A&W.
Oh, dude, but you live in Iceland, so like that kind of like negates everything. Because I bet Iceland is fucking beautiful.
All right.
That is someplace I would like to go there and see the Northern Lights in like Reykjavik. And I'm sure I pronounced that all fucked up, but you know, I'm American, and I try.
Even worse from Florida. I mean, that's like the lowest of the low bar.
I'm not from Florida. I moved here. I originally grew up north in the United States, but I hate snow, so I moved down south to get away from it.
I mean, that seemed. I was wondering why anyone would voluntarily go to Florida, but you know, that seems like a somewhat valid reason.
Also, I had met somebody and I moved here for them, but that person and I are no longer together. But I just like it here so much, I just stayed. So all works out. Yes, Florida man, and our governor sucks. And we can talk about all the reasons why Florida's terrible, but I will probably get banned from commentary for future times if I continue. Vid's just doing some ESS turning and spinning in the Phantom Ganon room, and Shiro's going down the river.
You know, they say don't go chasing waterfalls. In this particular room, you don't want to go chasing whirlpools. It especially sucks if you've done the clip, because there are skips to get past the Song of Time block, and if you do happen to land in one of the whirlpools, that'd be bad news. You have to redo it.
Yeah. And that's called entrance point glitch, and it is really hard, but it allows you to, like Dobby said, it allows you to skip the Song of Time block. You can also, that's also the way in which you do jungle jump in Forest Temple, which is something that most of us will not do.
Technically you could in DDR, but it's very rarely is it useful since you don't know what's actually there.
Yeah.
Whee! Ooh, that was a bad angle for that jump.
Yeah.
And I think Vid did the boast strat where you turn backwards with ISG, I think.
I was not paying attention. I was looking to see if Shiro was going to get this. Oh, wonderful. Slingshot. So useful and needed and necessary.
Whoa, we got a slingshot. Now we can beat Ganon. What?
I was thinking Goma maybe, but you know, hey, you do you.
Yeah, that's really what the best strat is to go get slingshots, then you can run warp to Ganon and beat him with slingshot.
I mean, you can just use stick ISG. That's what defeat Ganon % does.
I mean, clearly, that's objectively the better way to do it, but you know, slingshot's more fun. Gotta live dangerously, you know.
I mean, okay, that's fair.
And it's smart of Shiro to go back here. You can to like use FW to get quickly back to the top. You can also there's a strat you can do with like choose, where you use choose on like to hit the switch, and then you just like jump at the right time, and you kind of just swim over around the thing. It's the same principle for the cutscene diving as we've seen previously. So, wow, Vidya just attacking the poor worker here who has to sit up night and day to operate this stall, and she doesn't choose the items that are sold there, guys. She's not management. She just runs the spot, and like, you know, everyone blows her up, and it's very rude.
And Link's being a Karen right now, you know.
He's like, I want to speak to the manager, or else I'm going to drop all of these explosives all over the place.
Also, Bombshoe Bowling Lady is I wouldn't say objectively, but she is one of the she's probably one of the cutest of the female characters in the game. She's adorbs. I love her.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna love pixelated characters, you know, she's cute. The best music from OoT is the Gerudo Valley music.
Yeah, I am a fan of Gerudo Valley.
The NPC of the manager of OoT minigames would be the dude from the shooting galleries, because he's there as both adult and child, and he has no legs.
Yeah.
All right,
Real
so
gumption.
Shiro's going to do a hover slide, so.
This is the same principle as we saw earlier in Forest Temple. The idea is you wait for the second frame of recoil when you get a whole bunch of speed, and then you equip hover boots, and that lets you keep that speed really well.
I also was taught, I think actually by Sage, that you can do a mega flip, and before you land you equip the hover boots, it does the same thing. Because you get a lot of speed from doing a mega flip as well. Yeah, shooting gallery guy, it looks like a bouncer, honestly. Like,
not wrong.
I could definitely see him standing outside of like Termina's milk bar being like, "You can't get in!" Although, you know, Termina is not Hyrule, but you know. I don't think there's any bars here in Hyrule. I could be wrong. I don't know.
There are plenty of bars. They block a lot of doors.
I was gonna say, I don't know what the seedy underside of Hyrule looks like. Even the back alley is not that bad. There's just a lot of stray puppers, and you know what? If that's the worst thing in a back alley, then you're doing kind of okay.
You know, plus the dead body that shows up at one point. But you know, other than that, it's good.
I mean, yeah. You think about how kind of like fucked up this game actually is. Shiro managing to grab Morpho without having to wait the second cycle. I'm not sure if that is actually faster, but you know, here we are. She cannot crouch stab because she does not have a shield.
I also appreciate she's got the biggest wallet, almost full money, and she's like, nah. Still refused to buy a shield on principle.
Yep. Maybe she needs the 8-ball to lead her to a shield.
The 8-ball is the only way to know. The 8-ball is love. 8-ball is life. We cannot comprehend its infinite wisdom.
I will just maintain that I personally do not enjoy that format of play, but you know, it is, everybody has their own preference. So
it is absolutely ridiculous. And it's objectively a terrible way to try and beat a seed. But it's funny, so
I mean, you can't argue with that, with it being funny. I don't know who the best NPC is, to be honest.
Clearly, the best NPC is Richard, because is a dog. So, like, that's already the top category. But if we're talking about, like, people who aren't dogs, that's a tougher question.
Yeah. So Shiro just has to wait for this cutscene for the water to refill, and then she's going to run up and see.
Find out.
She's
light arrows are in the forest.
Yep. That is probably not going to make her particularly happy, but it is what it is.
It's not too bad, thankfully. She can at least clear everything that's there, so
yeah,
it's not the worst.
Yeah, it's just forest is. Of places that you have to go and do more of, Forest is probably one of my least favorites because it's so linear. I love the aesthetics of Forest. I like the music in Forest. As far as just actually just doing the dungeon, though, it's a slog. It's a chore.
Also, ICT, I think actually answer your question. I think that my favorite NPC that's not a dog, probably Malon.
Adult Malon, of course.
Yeah.
We have to clarify that.
Yes.
And there is the long shot.
Vidya might have been hoping to skip that and never find that. Yeah. It can be useful for you. Like, long shot isn't bad to find, but it's rarely is it ever necessary.
I mean, with Longshot, though, you don't need Gold Scale or Iron Boots to get into the room in Water Temple where you can lower the water the first time, so he might be inclined to go to Water Temple now. I mean, at least I probably would, because, again, you can do it. Because you use the Longshot to get the torch to get under there.
Yeah, and that would let you clear, like, a whole lot of it, even without using, like, any real glitches. Because you can do most of it normally at this point. You've got all of the equipment, other than Iron Boots. So there's only a couple spots that I don't think you'd be able to do. Right.
And we have already found out that we don't need those, so...
Vidya hoping to channel the Link 11 luck with bomb drops, and unfortunately I think only got one, so...
Yeah.
No.
Whenever you need bombs, you will not get bombs. Whenever you don't need bombs, you will get like 30 fucking bomb drops. That is the way.
Is it the way? Ooh, nice child has to.
Yeah.
That one thing to be careful for. You can crash the game if you do a child testing correctly. Adult, apparently that doesn't happen because I'm pretty sure I've screwed up a Hess as adult every way that's possible, and I don't think I've ever crashed. So
I think for me is like I get the timing right for it, but I just don't hold ESS. So, and that's just I don't expect to get it. So I don't hold ESS for that reason.
I usually end up getting the butt.
So I think Vid is getting the gold scale, which I don't. I guess he's just gonna get the gold scale for ease of entry into water, which I guess is fine. You don't have to do the ocarina dive.
Yeah, it does save you having to worry about that at all.
Because he's immediately going back adult, and there's a nice chicken butt in our face.
Wow.
That's we needed that. How many frames is a chicken butt? We don't know.
Yeah, how many frames does it take to cook a chicken butt?
Just the butt. Just the butt.
Just the butt, you know? If you don't need to cook the whole thing, you're just looking for a hot ass.
Yeah.
How many frames?
Oh, dear God.
Once again, for those who missed the beginning, we have about 6 years of maturity amongst everyone on Restream right now, so... And most of that are from the trackers.
Yeah. In fact, I think I might have just peed myself. I need my diaper changed. How many frames could a chicken butt if a chicken butt could butt frames? That's like that's like if Buttspot was in the chat, honestly. Oh, Buttspot. I love Buttspot. Buttspot was banned for a short period of time, and even my boyfriend was like, "What? Not Buttspot?" I was like, "I know, right?" He doesn't even... He's not, like, on Twitch, really. He gets on Twitch just to, like, come in my channel and, like, troll me.
And it was unfortunate that Twitch decided to ban Buttspot. And you couldn't protest it. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, I mean, it is back, so... But yeah, when it was banned, we were all very disappointed in Twitch's decision-making. And this is the hookshotting the torch that I was talking about, which probably a lot of people have seen before, because that is... Is that allowed in standard now? Because I know there was something about gold scale water entry that came up, but
Yeah, it's just entering that isn't allowed. I think you're allowed to do it inside.
Okay, because I just completely forgot because I don't necessarily file away information that is not something that I will use. So
I would say I agree, and yet I could probably remember most of the lyrics to Smash Mouth, which has never served me in my life and never will. But for some reason, I can still tell you the lyrics.
Okay, I mean that's fair. I mean, if I need to like do something for one of my students, you know, something that's actually important. No, can't remember that, but I can definitely remember something that happened in 1996 when I was in high school.
Brains do be like that, unfortunately. How many frames to cook a Ganon? To what doneness? Like medium rare, rare?
Did Cheryl get the hint? She did, right? Like, I'm not losing my mind, right? Like, oh, she's going through Goron City, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I guess that might be. She doesn't have minuet, so this might be the fastest way. Kind of all the ways you have currently are terrible.
Yeah, I would probably just have, like... I don't know how she is at... well, she can't ask. She doesn't have a fucking
You can't
shield.
ask because she's refusing to pick up the shield.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know. I think, like, even backwalking to Kokiri would probably be faster than going this way, but I don't know. I am way too lazy. I mean, I can't do it right now anyway because I'm in the middle of commentary, but I'm way too lazy to load up GZ and time it. And honestly, I would probably not be the one to time it because my movement can be pretty terrible sometimes. Vid, I need you to pick up 1 rupee, please.
And also, Shira, we need you to spend exactly 71 rupees, please.
Exactly. Oh man, it would be so nice to have 69 420 or 420 69 on the restream.
Just chef's kiss. And curry chicken, no. So for these settings, they actually only need 5 medallions in order to get the Ganon boss key. So Shira actually already has that. So the only thing she needs to grab is the light arrows, which are in Forest Temple, and we know she'll be able to get them relatively easily.
Yeah.
This still is still a race though, because Vidya already has the light arrows. So like once Vidya completes Water Temple, and the routing, how long that'll take will depend on like his route through here.
Yeah.
But like he actually isn't that far behind. So like once he finds the boss key, then he'll still have to do the climb, which Shira won't have to do. So like it's going to be pretty close on terms of the finish times here.
Yeah, I mean, like, and just, I know that we don't want to shame anybody, but Shira's lack of shield could be something that is a factor, especially in the Dwarf or the Ganon fight. So, we can't discount that, even for the meme, you know?
And it is really a testament to, like, how routing, like, is very much non-linear in DDR, where you saw these two took very, very different routes in terms of, like, where they went, what dungeons they choose to do, in what order. Even what items they ended up finding. Like, Vidya has Longshot now, but for a long time used the other hookshot that Shiro had found. And so, like, even after all of that, they're still going to be finishing within probably, like, 5 minutes of each other.
Vit did so much extra too, like GTG. I mean, the bottom of the well turned out to be good for him, but... And honestly, having Longshot here makes these weird shots, obviously, you know, doable. I think that you do need to have Longshot for these weird shots because of how far the chests are from where you're weird shotting. So,
you
I'm not
do it, you just have to set up more precisely. I think you have to be, like, closer to like, the block section. But it is tight for having enough room to do the setup.
That's what I figured. I am not in the can weird shot camp yet, so it is definitely on my list for sure.
Yeah, I think during the restream we had for Sage in the Memorial Seed, I did pause buffering weird shots, and Trez, Chimp, and Cubs were were commenting on the pause buffer strats. It's especially good because I am on Enver Drive, and that room is one of the worst in the game for pause buffering.
Lag, I'm assuming.
Yep. Because that room has both the center maze and the, like, lava room right next to it loaded. It is horrendous for lag.
Oh, yeah.
You could probably, because I think someone else paused in that room in GTG, and you could really compare. It's like a solid second every single time you pause on Everdrive.
And that's your phone.
Yeah, that was my phone, apparently.
You got like a text message or something.
Yeah, I think Doblina is letting know she's going to pick up a toothbrush. I'm like, cool.
It's funny how we have different names for our significant others, like, because of, and this is a meme from my stream. My partner likes to yell titties from off screen. So we have affectionately nicknamed him Mr. Titties. So there's that. Mr. Axe just didn't have the same ring to it, you know?
Yeah. I know another one that's Mr. Minda for another runner I know. For mostly Breath of the Wild, but them it's Mr. Minda for the significant other.
Yeah, I stole the Mr. idea because I used to watch Specs a lot, and he called his wife Mrs. Specs, and I was like, I could do something like that, because obviously, you know, our people that are not on Twitch do not necessarily want all their business out there on Twitch, so obviously, I mean, that makes perfect sense. That, you know, they don't want us to say people's names online or whatever. I wouldn't necessarily. I don't mind. I don't care. But I know some people definitely don't want their name and a lot of their personal information out online, and that's fine.
Sure, I'm gonna whip up the bottle strats.
Oh yeah. We're going to be doing some tennis today. Perhaps a sub goal could happen. Perhaps we could, get Trez or somebody to do Mario Tennis on the new Switch sports game that's coming out.
Preferably while attaching a bottle to whatever their controller is as they swing in.
Oh god.
Go to the dollar store, pick up a cheap bottle, put the controller in it, and use that.
Shiro needs to get magic.
There is some down below, so she'll be able to grab that relatively easily.
Yeah, I think she probably just didn't.
She's probably going to realize when she tries to shoot and is like, "I'm a derp."
Yeah, which is gonna be a feels bad man. Meanwhile, Vid is taking the absolute longest route to get to the last possible location for the boss key, which is, I think Shiro took a slightly quicker route through here. I don't think she went into the boss key room.
Yeah, typically for DDR, a lot of times what you're going to end up doing as your last, and here she's realizing she's out of magic.
Yeah, I can hear her saying, "Oh fuck!" I can almost hear her saying it.
Yeah. And either that or it's a long, overdrawn. Ugh.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yep.
But yeah, unfortunately, this dragon chest that we know that the key's actually in, though logically it's super early, with a lot of routing it tends to be super late. So it's one of the more annoying ones for it to be in.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would do this. If you're playing the game vanilla, this will be one of the first checks you do, simply by virtue of it being, you lower the water, you go through and you push that block, and then you bomb the thing, and you come get this. But the way that we do it in, Rando and other versions of the game is obviously you go through the river chest first. So it is more optimal. Of course, if you don't have Song of Time, though, you know that there's another way to get to the dragon chest, which is good. Oh, no, Shiro, no. Mood.
Big mood.
Yeah.
There is that terrified moment as you're going through a dungeon without one of the supposedly required items.
Yeah.
And just hoping that it's not that one last check.
I mean, and honestly, he probably knows how to do it. Or maybe he knows, or maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he, could do it or would have to look it up. But nobody wants to do that. That's not something that anybody wants to do.
No, that setup is definitely a lot trickier than most of the other tricks you'll see here.
Yeah. And Vid also getting the dwarf snipe.
Nice snipe. And using the door frame too, which is nice.
That's a much harder strat. Shiro is not having the best of Ganondorf fights today.
As having some NA aim troubles as well as some magic. I 100% sure she's not happy with how this fight has gone so far.
Yeah, I know how tilting it can be to have a bad Ganondorf fight, so I completely empathize. If this were me right now, I would have probably rage quit, or probably screamed, or thrown my controller, or all of the above. God,
it is also worth noting that when you're that far away from Ganon, using bottle is typically not optimal, just in terms of the chances that it reflects it, because basically there's a 90% chance he'll reflect every single shot if you use the bottle that far away. Fig has actually a really interesting video breaking down how exactly Ganondorf's reflections work. If you're interested, I would recommend checking it out. It's on YouTube. Otherwise, you can ask someone in Gameplay and Tricks. I know they have that. So that's a really interesting thing. But in general, if you're close, bottle's good. If you're far away, bottle bad. And you want to quick spin. Shiro's also trying to do a setup here. You can, if you use Dins on the right spot, which I think she got it here, you actually are able to keep your Master Sword through the first part of this fight, which is faster because it does more damage.
Yeah. I didn't know about the Dins. I knew about the super slide method, but again, no shield, can't super slide, so...
Yeah, I don't know if she got it here. I forget what all happens, but I think you might just get control. But we'll see. We'll see when the animation happens here. It didn't. So yeah, I think she just good. She got the right time. So she should have the Master Sword at this point. And there we go. So yeah, so that causes it to take, instead of the 10 hits, it's now just going to take 3 hits.
Yep. Okay, this song is fantastic for Ganon's Tower.
These are facts.
Killing Ganon. Now's the time for killing Ganondorf, and then we're killing Ganon. Okay, I'm good. I love how I just sometimes just off the cuff are my best songs. Okay.
When's the mixtape coming out?
It's called twitch.tv/Oksani and exclamation point clip. But there are several clips of me already having several songs, so... Alright. Shiro, shieldless... GG.
Ooh, and Vidya hessing up these final stairs, which is technically faster if you get it quickly. If you don't, it's not, but it's funny because you get that bob effect from going up and down the stairs.
I would get such a headache if that were, like, real. Nice. GG to Shiro. GG.
G. Official time of 2:38:37. Not a bad time at all.
And I think we're just going to watch Vid finish it all out, of course, because it's so close. Why would we cut it now? Unless he cuts, which I hope not, because, you know... Okay, I like this. This is... Can we get some cat jams? I don't even know if cat jam's in this channel, but fuck it. Cat jam.
Get your ZSR jams or your cat jams. All of your jams and jellies.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's such good music. Why did he reset?
Oh, so yeah.
Didn't he have the light arrows?
Yeah, he's got light arrows.
Vid?
Vid, what you doing, brah?
Vid?
What are you doing?
I don't know. He has magic, he has light arrows, he has bow. I don't know what he's doing. Vid, check your inventory, please. What the fuck is he... I am very confused.
I'm very confused. I'm Dobby, but also very confused.
Oh, he's gonna crash the game. Okay. Got it. Yeah, you can crash the game. It's a VC crash if you get this clip and you use a chew out of bounds.
Oh yeah, I think that only works on GameCube.
I think I've seen ZFG do it, and I know he plays on VC, but... Out of bounds chewing. There you go.
Thanks for that sound effect, though. Oh, that's a sound effect.
Okay, is that better or worse than Rudo?
Worse. Much, much worse.
What a way to go. If you gotta lose, you gotta burn all the bridges, I guess. I guess he doesn't particularly care about his
your points.
His race time points, yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna mute that now.
Yeah,
so
me too.
I don't know if the restream has, but I'm going to. What up, Vid? Oh, that was great. I appreciated that quite a bit. This was a seed, though. This was definitely a not a quick one, not a particularly quick one. But,
Welcome, GGs to both of you guys.
Bruh. So, let this be a lesson. Don't put off Goron City. Jesus Christ. That was so sad.
City.
For the first shot, I also last location that I don't know if you found another one. I certainly did.
No, my problem, that was also my go mode, but my problem was not going to Boulder Maze for an hour and a half, so I never had bombs. So that was pretty tragic.
Oh, that was my second bomb bag, I think.
Where we kind of so Shiro did the dive out of Lost Woods to get to River, and immediately was able to get the bomb bag there. Like within, I think I want to say like the first like 20-30 minutes of the race. So that definitely helped.
Bomb bag in River, do you say?
Upper River, right near the waterfall.
River
did I not even look at that?
Hero.
I guess not.
I guess I got the dins, and then I was like, all right, we'll go to Forest to get the song, and I didn't even look at the ledge. Whoops. Oh well.
And for your question, Shiro, the other hook shot was in Bottom of the Well, which Vid did enter properly, of course, by pissing off a chicken, so everything is good.
Also, very important for both of you guys to know, apparently it takes approximately 19.1 minutes to cook a chicken using ISG. You're welcome.
This is the conversation topics, I guess, we're having during the restream.
Critical.
Among many others, but also you are disqualified, Vid, because you did not pick up Greg. So just saying. I'm just teasing.
Did I pick up Greg? Where was Greg?
Greg was in Bottom of the Well as well.
The whole time, I'm just terrified that I'm just gonna accidentally do something banned. I'm brand new to DDR, so like I generally don't know if something's banned or not. But
if you don't hover, you don't equip stop, it's not banned.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
no Iron Lung Warp, and then don't equip swap, don't hover is basically the most notable ones. There are a couple of other ones, but that's basically it.
Don't BK skip, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'd
go
like
ahead.
to know where a shield was.
I don't remember.
I don't think we found one. I don't even think we found Mirror Shield.
Yeah, we didn't find Mirror Shield, and I don't know that we found a Hylian Shield.
Did Shiro find boots? Iron boots?
Yeah, I just found hovers. I did the ledge clip in water, and I finished the entire thing shieldless. Because I don't compromise my morals. I don't buy shields.
Yeah, we did.
That was a fun Ganondorf fight.
Yeah, well, we did appreciate you sticking to your morals during that Ganondorf fight, because without shield, that can get real nasty.
Yeah.
I would have probably rage quit long before you.
Well, if Dotso hadn't said to me halfway through, like, I don't understand you that you're not buying a shield, I probably would have bought it earlier. But the fact that he said that he was very displeased like made me want to not buy one more. So you can blame Dotso that I completed the entire thing shieldless.
First.
And I made him watch the whole time.
Oh god.
No curling today.
We were talking, we did talk about how you and I troll him by YOLOing the fuck out of shit. And like we'll do things unbuffered that should not be done unbuffered, and just like randomly not doing setups and just YOLOing. So we definitely had a good little chat about that. It is fun to mess with Dotso sometimes.
Yeah, but it was frustrating not having iron boots and water, because I literally did all the checks except for Central Pillar, and I was really hoping it was going to be on River Chest, because thank God they were just back in Forest.
Dude, that GTG was so tragic. I felt so bad. That entire section was just awful.
Oh no.
Rip.
I hope
it. There's nothing. The only thing out of the whole Gerudo area was the other scale in the crate. And I'm like, okay, cool. If I find Longshot, that's fine, because I don't know how to do anything in Water Temple in this real set. I'm just like, let me do gold scale water and we'll call it that.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of the keys were accessible. Gold scale water and Longshot would have been really nice to seed.
It did. You were definitely able to do everything in water, which is that. Like, the only thing that sucks is Central Pillar, and thank God for you guys. We did also appreciate Vid, that you once you found the boss key, you reset and changed the second file to be thank God. We noticed and appreciated.
You gotta
out of it.
When it's not central, I was sweating the whole time. I'm like, please,
Same.
bro, please don't be at central pillar.
Same, legit.
And yeah, Iron Boots was on the literal next check I would have done, so big sad there.
Yeah. Well, where were you when we forfeit?
When you finished, I had just entered the door fight.
Okay.
With light arrows too.
Yeah, and we were like, he saved and left, and I'm like, what the fuck? You have light arrows. What are you doing? And then when you went to CAC and you got into that corner, I was like, oh, he's gonna crash the game. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Like,
I don't care about fake race time points. It's fine. I'll do that.
Yeah.
I gotta put on a show if I'm gonna lose, you know.
We were kind of wondering what the Ganon music was going to be, though, and you deprived us of that important knowledge. Huh?
Also had random music.
Yeah.
There you go.
Which we did. I was a fan of the hover boot sound being the iron knuckles. That was amazing.
Oh, good.
Dude,
Yeah, that
random hover boots. There is an objective best random sound effect and an objective worst. The best one is easily hover boots, and the worst one is low heart noise. I always hard set low heart to just tambourine because it's like the least obnoxious sound.
I have Zelda gasp for low heart
Oh
because
my
I
God.
am. There's many things wrong with me, as everybody who watched this restream already knows.
And that's
Worst.
not the worst one.
I know, right?
Anyway, overall, yeah, don't put off Goron City. Sucks that I went so long without that strength and went to GTG and did all that. But other than that, it's all fine. This is good fun. So, yeah.
Alright, well, I have nothing more to say, but GG's, this was fun.
I
Now we're 1-1, I guess we have to do another match again.
See you next
Bug.
week.
Same place, same time.
You guys just put me in a difficult situation. Because I thought, okay, the interview's gonna go for another minute. I can quickly cut up my pizza.
Stall,
Sadly.
let's stall.
We can stall, that's fine. I can
No.
take the opportunity to thank all of our trackers who came to help out. Quagsire, as well as McCundy, and No Pen Name Girl, who was originally scheduled and ran into some issues, so wasn't able to join. So thank you all for helping out and keeping having all 6 of the brain cells that we had this on the restream team. Thank you for having all of them. We also, of course, had my co-commentator, Axe. Pleasure, as always, to be on restream. As well as we have the runners that are now also on comms, so they pop up there, as well as the specific runners for Shiro and Vidya, both amazing racers for OT stuff and beyond. Also take this opportunity to remind people to please fill out the survey for the Season 2 settings. We want to find opinions not just of people who are interested in joining the DDR, though of course we obviously want your opinions, but more generally from the community to see what people like in terms of settings, just to have better ideas of like what settings are good to pick and what are the effects of various settings. So please fill it out. It only takes about 5 minutes, so after the restream is over, I would very much appreciate it. You just take a couple minutes to fill it out. Won't take long.
Yeah, Axe, fill it out.
Yeah, Axe, fill it out.
Goddamn. I'm gonna pee first, though. Can I pee first?
No.
You can do it on your phone while peeing, right?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Jesus Christ, you guys.
All right,
fucking pizza, Trez.
All right, friends, I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you again so much. Dobby already said everything that I would have said. That makes my job really easy. I can just all thank you for watching, thank you for participating and running, and see you all next month for the next weekly restream coverage, or next week, or later today for another restream. And yeah, that's it for now. Thank you all for watching, and take it easy. See you soon.